CritCast.
Okay, welcome back to yet another episode of CritCast. I don't know why I voiced that like William Shatner, but here we are.
You started, so keep going. You have to keep going now.
Okay, well then.
So we don't know what episode number this is, but
it's episode
we do know that this one is going to be about gaming.
Gaming.
Growing up gaming.
I thought this was about William Shatner.
Oh, there may have been some kind of miscommunication.
Miscommunication. Actually, we probably could fill a whole episode about that guy because he's such a fucking
I definitely
asshole.
couldn't, because I've never watched Star Trek
Well,
or known anything about William Shatner.
me neither. But he like went on a shitstorm on Twitter about like not liking being called cis.
Oh,
Yes, really.
ew.
Yeah, I know. And then like people told him
Gross.
like, why are you being so dumb about this?
Yeah, what's
And-
the big deal?
Yeah, and he kind of doubled down on it as well.
I
So,
love that.
Yeah,
I love that.
of course, because I don't know, like especially these cis white famous guys, you know, like
Yeah.
they have like such tremendous amounts of faith in their stupidity.
Yeah.
I
They're
hate
very
it.
confident. You kind of have to be confident to be in showbiz, and it kind of leaches into other things.
Yeah.
You just have complete and total confidence in everything that you say. Even when you don't, you still do.
Yes. They have confidence in like just dumb shit, and that's how we get like anti-vaxxer shit. And
Yeah. It's always really weird when someone starts saying anti-vaxxer shit when you're like, I remember it happened in like it was like a family gathering. One of my family members was just like suddenly got a little bit anti-vaxxy, and I was like, okay.
Oh no.
Oh, all right. Cool.
Did you just cut it off and say like, well,
Yeah, I was just like, cool, whatever. They're your kids, you know. Like,
yeah, you can
it's
kill
not
them
my
if you
business.
like. I mean, you know.
yeah, that's fine. No, but this episode is supposed to be about gaming.
Yeah,
We've
it's
got to
supposed to
stop
be about
talking about
gaming.
anti-vaxxers.
Yes.
What was your first console? Because I had to really think hard to remember what mine
SNES.
was. Okay.
SNES. Yeah,
Mine
I got it
was
for
a Game
like
Boy Advance.
I think I got it for like either for I think I got it for either my birthday or for Santa Claus, which is like the Dutch Santa Claus tradition.
Okay. I was randomly given my Game Boy Advance at a wedding
Wow.
when I was very small. And a lot of my gaming history comes from my uncle because he just gives me
Wow.
consoles that he doesn't want anymore.
So
And I think he had a Game Boy Advance at this wedding, and he was like,
Game
"Oh, do
Boy
you just want
Advance,
this?" And I was
wow.
like, "Okay."
Man.
We should clarify I'm younger than Rachel,
Yeah.
so my gaming history is slightly offset by what, one generation of console. Maybe?
Yeah, I think like one probably. I guess so. Like
Yeah.
when I was really young, the first games I played were like my nephew's Nintendo, like the first Nintendo console,
Yeah,
and I remember this vividly. Like he and my siblings would play a prank on me, and they would just. Because I obviously loved video games, so I was like, "Oh, can I have a turn?" And
Yeah.
they would be like, "Yeah, here, go ahead, you can play this game." And they would turn on Bayou Billy, which is like an insane, super difficult game. Like you should watch
I
like
was an
a
only child until I was 9, so I didn't have any of that.
yeah. Well, you should like if you're into like retro games or something, you should look up Bayou Billy. It's such a insane.
What is it for, the
ballbuster
NES?
Game. Yeah.
Yeah.
It's like this weird beat 'em up game, and
Oh, okay.
yeah, it's really really difficult.
Yeah. A lot of the early games for like NES and a few on the SNES were like, they still have that mindset of like, you have to make games as hard as possible because they were always in arcades. So it was like you need to die a lot so that you have to keep putting coins in the machine.
Yeah.
And then that kind of trickled into home gaming for no real reason. And we're still like recovering from it.
Yeah, actually it kind of does. And it kind of sucks too because it ruined a lot of good games, I feel like.
Yes.
Like there's one game it's like from a British developer. It was called Pluck on the Super Nintendo. Okay. And it was a really good game. It was like a platforming game. You play like as like an abstract cartoon guy, and literally your weapons are your limbs. So you throw your own limbs at the enemies, and if you've thrown all of your limbs, you'll just be like, you just be like a little torso just jumping around. And it was a really cute little game, really cartoony. But the difficulty was just like, especially like the later levels would get insanely difficult, and it had like limited life. I think it was 3 lives, and no password, and also no like memory saves, no battery saves. So 3 lives, and it's game over. You know?
Yeah,
that's just just insane.
Oh, that's brutal. I do remember.
Oh, and don't believe any of this myth, by the way, of like, well, older gamers are just much better at video games. They're not. We died just as much as any other gamer.
Games were just hard then. And like the other thing as well that I've actually noticed about my experience with gaming is that I don't play platformers just by accident.
Oh.
So whenever one comes up, I'm absolute garbage. It's like I've never played a video game before.
Like 2D platformers or like 3D?
Yeah, I just never played them.
Huh.
When I was a kid, I just didn't play them because the thing that I played constantly on my Game Boy was Pokemon. And then the next console I got was a GameCube. And on that, I played almost exclusively Animal Crossing and Super Mario Sunshine.
Wow. Well, I guess...
and that was it.
I guess for me, it was different because, you know, like 90% of all the games on like the Super Nintendo and Nintendo are platforming games. So it's like, kind of have to get used to that.
Yeah. No, I grew up with like 3D Nintendo games pretty much, plus Fire Red, which I still play to this day.
Youth of today is just so spoiled in their 3D environments.
Yeah. You know what was funny though is I found, Strider is a new game it's not new, but it's like, I think it came out in like 2016, something like that. It's a side-scrolling platformer. It's really, really good. Strider, but I'm absolute garbage.
It's based on the old game, I'm pretty sure. That's a reboot now. Yeah,
it's based on the old game. The new version is really good. It plays really well.
Isn't that like a Sega game? I forgot.
I think it might be Capcom.
Capcom, yeah.
It might be Capcom. I'm not sure. We're going to talk a lot of bullshit about who made what.
That's fine.
And when it came out. No, it's really, really good, but I suck. I'm really terrible at it because I don't play platformers ever. So I have no muscle memory for it at all.
Well, I kind of the thing that sucks for me is that like I have a lot of like memories of like old games. So whenever I want to stream something, I'm like, I would love to play this game again, like the Super Nintendo game, and then I'm like, nobody would watch this, you know? That just really is a thing. Like, nobody watches retro games on Twitch or whatever. It's just modern games.
Well, like, a lot of my inspiration when I'm making gaming content is Game Grumps, because I watched a lot of Game Grumps as like I'm not going to say kid, like late childhood. Like, probably like, I don't know.
Teen.
Yeah, like late teen. And I still watch a lot of Game Grumps now as like a chilling out kind of background thing. But like, I remember, because that they're pretty much the only introduction I had to older games, like SNES and NES games.
Yeah, I guess that makes sense.
And like, I love their playthrough of Kirby's Dream Course for the SNES. It's really funny. And that game is on the Switch's like virtual console thing. And holy Christ, is it hard? It's so hard. It's so much harder than I was expecting.
A Kirby game that's hard?
Yeah, Kirby. It's a golf game, basically.
Because like...
It's like an isometric golf game.
Traditionally, the Kirby games have always been like super easy.
Yeah.
It's always
That's my kind of thing.
Babby's first platforming game.
Yeah. I mean, I grew up playing Animal Crossing, so...
I have never played Animal Crossing.
Difficult games until I started playing on the Xbox 360.
Is this heresy? I'm a trans person, and I've never played Animal Crossing.
I think you're probably a healthier person.
Oh, okay.
For not playing it, because I really get sucked in. I really, really do. I've had to put down New Horizons for the Switch because I'm just. Oh, wow. I bury my face in it and I don't come out for hours now. It's like I do the same thing with Slime Rancher. I had to uninstall it because it's just like dozens of tiny tasks. And my brain is like, ooh, yeah, another tiny task that I could do right now, and I can't put it down. I don't like huge objectives.
It's almost
really
like
long missions and stuff like that.
So you're saying you're really into Facebook games then?
Yeah, pretty much. my brain is pretty much hardwired to enjoy that, even though I never played any of like the Facebook game stuff.
I used to at some point, but I don't know. I got really bored with it, and then I did
play a bunch of Flash games in school, like primary school. Oh yeah,
Flash.
Because they used to give us laptops whenever it was like too rainy or too snowy to go out. We had to like share them around, and I used to play Learn to Fly over and over again.
Did you play like some of those really edgy games?
No, I didn't.
Flash
a lot of my friends did, but I was always like, "This is weird," and like.
I remember back in high school, and I'm pretty much like yeah exactly like back in high school, like I had a classmate who put on you always have that one classmate who was like he was like super edgy, and they always put on like Happy Tree Friends like every week or so.
I forget how old Happy Tree Friends is.
Yeah,
because I found it kind of late. It's actually quite old, really.
Yeah, like I remember what was it, like 10 years ago or something? They actually turned it into like an actual cartoon that. I don't know if it aired on like Adult Swim or something.
That might have been what I saw on YouTube.
Yeah, to be fair. It was like an actual cartoon, and I was like, huh.
Yeah.
I don't remember that.
I thought it was.
I just remember it as like a really crappy, Flash cartoon.
No, I know Happy Tree Friends is like a polished cartoon that's on Mondo Media, I think, on YouTube.
Yeah, Mondo Media.
They did dick figures, I think, that I used to think was funny when I was like 14.
Wow.
Yeah, that's always so disappointing when you go back to stuff you thought was really funny when you were younger and it's not funny anymore.
Nah. Yeah,
like I went back to Idiots of Gary's Mod like a couple of years ago, and I was like, fuck, this isn't funny. It's not funny anymore. God, that's so sad. I really wanted to laugh, but I was like, it's just not funny.
Yeah, that happens. That's this thing about getting old, yeah.
Yeah, is you don't find the same things funny. I still find Lee Evans funny, which I used to find funny when I was a kid.
It's funny, like I always keep in I watched like a documentary, like The Nerd I Am, about like biology and all that. Like it is said that like every 7 years or so, your cells have been like completely recycled.
Yeah.
Like renewed. So like every 7 years or so.
Still the same bitch though.
Yeah. You're literally a completely new, different person actually.
It's like that that thing, if you replace every plank of wood on a boat one at a time, when does it become a new boat?
Oh, yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
Yeah, a good question. Always find it interesting.
I would say it's the last plank, just because you have to draw a line somewhere.
Yeah, I think I would agree personally. But then again, maybe some really bitchy British philosophers will disagree with us.
Probably. Isn't it the point of philosophy to disagree?
Yeah, probably, yeah.
That's I don't know. I didn't go to school for that. I went to school for art.
Me too. And I'm jobless, thanks.
Yeah, and now I'm a streamer, so that went well.
And I make...
I'm doing what I would have been doing anyway, but now I have a degree.
Yeah, plus, we're here defending our human rights on YouTube because nobody else will.
No, we got to do it ourselves, which is a bit disappointing.
That's a bit sad, isn't it?
Yeah, a little bit, but it's a worthy cause, I guess.
Yeah. I think so. Yeah.
Yeah.
It's like, hey, maybe we should, have some basic rights. We should, not be killed for who we are. Or...
Yeah, maybe.
And
I don't know, apparently it's contentious.
Yeah, but apparently it is, because then some people will say like, well, actually, trans people haven't existed since like the past 10 years.
Well, actually.
Yeah.
No, it's weird. I spoke about it on stream a couple of days ago late at night, but I did actually get some like really weird transphobia at uni at one point. Wow. And it was just really strange because it was like everyone had never heard of it before. Like whenever I tried to get it dealt with, everyone was like, well, what do you want to happen? And I was like, I don't know. It's your job. You need to tell me. Like, I'm not the equalities officer. You are. Like, what do you think should happen? And nothing ever happened. And it's just kind of like that.
Yeah, I never get that. Like, it always seems like people always expect minorities to just deal with it or something. Or to like... I don't know. Offer up like solutions for everything, It's like, hey, you live in this world too, you let's say something.
Yeah, the one that gets me is the expectation that I should not only explain everything but also know how to explain everything.
Oh yeah, of course.
Because I don't think about it that often. Like, being trans is not the only thing I think about.
Yeah, exactly. I always hate it. Like, they say, like, well, can you explain what being trans is on, like, a biological level? Like, fuck no. Like, and why should it...
bitch.
Why should
get over it?
Yes. But why should it even matter? Like, if somebody comes up to you and says, like, hey, I'm trans, why should you be like, well, how do you know you're trans? Well, no, yes, I know I'm trans. So, yeah.
Yeah.
That should be enough evidence, Like, if someone comes up to you and they're like, well, I'm Jewish, do you go like, well, actually, do you have a David's cross on you?
Well, do you have a dreidel on you right now?
Yes.
If not,
I'm sorry.
Not Jewish.
I'm sorry.
It doesn't count.
I just need more evidence. That's not the reality of our current situation. Yeah. Humanity was a mistake.
I think gaming though did have some degree of like, I don't know, it helped me a little bit with some trans thoughts because like I would always make fun of myself for never playing as a guy given the choice. And there's always that joke of like, oh, you don't want to look at a guy's ass.
Oh,
and
yeah,
I was like, but I'm pansexual, so that doesn't make sense either.
That's something, like, I don't know. For me, and I'm going to sound like a total like furry here, like, I think like whenever I saw like characters, when you have like a roster of characters, I would always pick the non-human one because that was just different.
Yeah.
Like
when I first played through Skyrim, and even now, I just go straight for Khajiit.
Oh yeah.
Because I just think they're pretty sick. They're pretty cool. And they get sneak bonuses, and sneak is so overpowered in Skyrim, I can't help it.
Did you ever play Morrowind?
No, I played Oblivion.
No, oh no, you should play Morrowind.
I did play Morrowind once. I do own it on PC, and I was like, I don't really have the mental capacity for this right now, but I will play it at some point.
Yeah, you should. Okay, if you do play it with OpenMW, because the vanilla game is pretty broken, honestly. Well, it's Bethesda, so everything is broken.
It's Bethesda, yeah, obviously it's broken.
But like, there's like a fan-made engine replica, I guess, and it's called OpenMW, and it's really, really good. And they fix like most of the major bugs. Like sometimes I'm like, oh, let me boot up some Morrowind, and then I just install it without OpenMW, and I'm like, oh shit, I forgot how broken this was. Like, yeah. But it's still really good.
One of my housemates had never played Skyrim, and I was like, "Don't say that out loud. Todd Howard will find you.
Oh yeah,
he will find you and make you play Skyrim." And he'd never played Oblivion either. And I showed him footage of Oblivion, and he was like, is this what it looks like? And I was like, yeah, it's all bloom. And he was
yes.
I can't believe it. I can't believe there's so much bloom. And I was like, yeah, it's all bloom. The whole game looks like that.
Yes, that's
he was so shocked.
That's the 2000s. That's just bloom.
Yeah. I bought my Xbox 360, I ordered it online, and then I went out that day and I bought Halo 3 and Oblivion, so that I would have something to play when it arrived. I played.
Oh, sorry. Finish your thought.
I played Oblivion when I first got the Xbox. Bear in mind, I'd never even played like a first-person shooter before on a controller, and I hated it because I was just like, "What is going on?" Because I'd never played like a non-Nintendo game before, basically. So it was just like so overwhelming and complicated, and I was like, "Oh, I can't do it." And then I just played Halo 3 for months and months and months and months, and then I think it was like a year later, I went to return Oblivion, like trade it in to like buy something else.
Yeah.
And the guy at the counter was like, "Oh, are you old enough to even buy this?" And I was like, "Shit, no, I'm not." So then I had to go home with it again. And I was like, well, I may as well play it. And then I couldn't stop playing it.
Yeah. I used to have it too for Xbox 360. I think I still have it, actually, Oblivion.
I still have it.
I also have it on
Steam.
Steam.
Games.
But
I also have it on Steam. I've never booted it up though. Someone bought me like the Elder Scrolls collection for my birthday.
Oh yeah, nice. Oh, I love it. Do you remember that time phase in like the late 2000s where everything looked like somebody smeared Vaseline all over the camera lens?
Yeah, I always wondered what that was at the time, but now I know it's because it was like coping with low resolution and low texture detail. Yeah, and like trying desperately to get realism when we just weren't ready for it yet.
Yeah, just a lot of like camera stuff. Like I don't get camera like camera shaders and such. I
get it to a degree because it's like a stylistic choice, but then sometimes it turns up in games that it just doesn't belong in.
Yeah, but like the human eye does not produce lens flares.
I don't know about that. I've got astigmatism. I get pretty crazy lens flares in my eyes.
Well, then it's not like a lens flare then. It's like I don't know.
It's
flare.
Just a streak. It's like someone's
streak, but it's
run
not like
their hands across a whiteboard, and the whiteboard is my vision.
Yeah, but that's different. That's different.
It is different. It looks crazy though. I'd recommend it.
You recommend it? Okay.
Yeah, get astigmatism. I'd recommend it. It makes everything look sick.
Next time I get bored.
I can't read anything if it's backlit.
Oh,
like it's so frustrating.
Well, I can't read anything at all, so that's fun. Like it's funny too. Like my vision is like complete another shit, and I chose to pick up learning Chinese. And so like I have to adjust like my Telegram, for example. I've put it to like 200% magnified or something because like otherwise I can't make anything out.
Yeah,
like,
that's fair. I'm very slightly long-sighted in one eye and I have astigmatism in the other, and I can see everything perfectly fine, but I get a headache really quickly if I don't wear my glasses. So like. Sometimes I'll just be like, you know what? I don't want to put my glasses on. They're kind of uncomfortable. And then like an hour later, I'll be like, why do my eyes hurt? Why does everything hurt? And then I have to put my glasses on.
Isn't human biology fascinating?
So much fun.
Yeah,
so much fun.
It's a lot of fun.
I'm just in pain without lenses on my face. No, and I remember... When I was a kid, I remember there were particular games that would make my eyes burn.
Oh yeah, I had it too.
I remember sitting and playing some games and being like, "Why am I crying? Like my eyes are burning.
I had
my
that too.
Face hurts."
Yeah, I had
and
it
it was
too.
on some games and not others. And now I know it's the games that had poor performance. So things like Crackdown 2 would do that to me.
Oh, for me it was had to do with the Prisma. So I had to get like. I had to get glasses with like a Prisma inside of it. So special prism. Yeah, sorry.
Yeah.
And
I thought it was something else.
Oh no, sorry. I just couldn't think of the name.
No, it's fine.
And So that was like the only way for me to like see properly.
Yeah.
And if I wore contact lenses and sit behind the computer, like every 10 minutes, I would have to take a break, and I would like I would just sit in the corner and just my entire face would be tears and red and just just fucking disgusting.
Yeah.
And then I would just sit behind the computer again because I was like addicted to games. Yeah. So I would just sit behind the computer with like my eyes just burning red, like just being like, yes, let's do some gaming.
Yeah, I remember specifically Crackdown 2 would destroy my eyes. It would make my eyes burn so much. And then other games just wouldn't do it. Like Forza 4 wouldn't do it. I could play that pretty much infinitely and it wouldn't hurt my eyes.
I know old games. I know so many games that you've never heard of, probably.
Yes.
Yes.
Almost certainly. But I think I probably gamed the most on the Xbox 360. And I think I've only recently caught up with my hours on that. PC.
I've played also a lot of Xbox 360 games, also because like it was the console I bought like in the first generation. So and that one crapped out because the red ring, and so I got it replaced with like I think it was like a second or third generation Xbox 360, and that one I still have. It still works fine.
Yeah.
And
I still have a couple of Xboxes.
I have a lot of good memories. Like mainly when I first moved out of the house when I was 18, I was into like a phase where I couldn't do much. I was kind of reclused. And the thing that really got me through it was just the fact that I could just play on my Xbox 360.
Yeah, the Xbox 360 and Xbox Live, I've kind of credited for getting me through secondary school when I was like peak depressed.
Wow.
And that was because like school is really designed to make you feel useless.
Yeah.
And I already felt useless because I couldn't do anything. I got okay grades, but like I thought that there was this like running joke where people would tell me to concentrate, and that because I didn't think that was something you could choose to do. And I remember thinking like, is this some kind of gag? Like people are like, concentrate, get it? Because you can't do that.
Are you having a giggle?
Like, it really felt like that. But then I could like sit and game for hours, and I was really good. I was really good at Halo when I was a kid, and I used to have like Xbox friends who would like bug me to play with them, and like that was really nice when I was a kid because I really needed that. Because like, school was terrible and I felt useless and awful. But then as soon as I came online on Xbox, like 6 of my friends were like, "Do you want to play SWAT? Do you want to play SWAT with me? Can you play SWAT with me?"
What was SWAT?
It was really lovely. SWAT was a game type on Halo Reach where you had no shields. And everyone had a DMR and a pistol, and
Halo
I was
Reach,
godlike at that game. I was
modern
so good.
Stuff. I think the last...
It was one shot to the head was a kill.
No, I think the last Halo game I played was probably Halo 3. Oh no, Halo ODST, or what was it called?
Yeah, I thought that I had played ODST, and then I watched someone pick it apart, and I realized that I've never played ODST.
Well,
I own it, and then I was watching this guy play it, and I was like, I've never seen this before in my life.
Yeah, I own it too. It's boring.
I got it because it came with extra maps for Halo 3. That was why I bought it, and then I never played it, I think.
I don't know. I really thought the campaign for Halo 3 is like very overlooked.
It's not overlooked.
No? Oh.
Everyone loves that campaign.
Really? Oh.
Yes,
yeah, never mind.
Everyone loves that campaign.
Never fucking
Everyone
mind.
loves it.
I don't know why. I just thought it was really cool. Like,
no, it's great. I loved the Halo 3 campaign. I liked Reach more because of the dramatic irony of it, and I think it had so much more weight. Because
like the thing that I disliked about the first game's campaign was just the grayness of it all. Like the gray and the metal, just the metal sheens. It was just like,
yeah, because it's supposed to be like
dull.
Quite oppressive and kind of empty feeling.
Yeah,
and like in an early game like that, a lot of games feel like that accidentally.
Yeah,
because they're just not fleshed out well enough. But Noodle has a really good video on Halo Combat Evolved. It also had a really interesting development cycle because it was going to come out exclusively for Apple computers.
Oh, yeah, because of Bungie.
Which is really weird. And then Microsoft bought Bungie, I think. Something like that. I can't remember anymore. I used to know it like off by heart, but I don't know it anymore.
When I think of Halo 3, I think of that weird final level where you're inside of that like weird fleshy creature or something.
Yeah, you're battling the flood at the end of.
Oh yeah. Like that was really cool. I thought that was pretty memorable.
Yeah, I really enjoyed Reach because I actually felt like I liked a lot of the characters, which was weird for a Halo game because. Like, you're just expected to like Master Chief, and it doesn't really try to make you like Master Chief.
Oh, yeah, of course.
It's just like, yeah, of course you do. He's the main character. And obviously I do in the original games, but in Reach, there's this, like... I'm sure for some people it didn't land, but it really worked on me when I was a kid, but they really make you feel for your teammates. Because they're like... I don't know, it just made sense to me, because they're, like, quite tough on you, but they're not, like, mean or like horrible to you because you're the new person in the team. They're just like, they have expectations and you need to meet them, and then you do, and then they like you. So it's like, it makes sense. And then they all slowly die. So you have to like witness all of them. And then some of them, I remember the cat dying got me because it's just so brutal. Because she just died. You're just walking through a corridor and she gets shot in the head and that's it.
I have no idea what you're describing here.
It was great. It's great. I love the campaign for Reach. I liked it because it's
it
set
on PC
before 3.
or?
Yeah, you can get it on PC. It's in the Master Chief Collection.
Because the one thing I hate is that Halo 3 isn't for PC, and I hate it.
I think it is coming to the Master Chief Collection eventually. If it isn't already. Yeah, because they're bringing all of them to PC.
Oh, good. Because like that's something I hated. Like, okay, the first one is on PC, the second one is on PC, the third one, no. And I'm like, fuck you, that's the best game. That's the one I like the most.
Because Reach is a prequel to 3, and you know in 3 the Master Chief is the last Spartan.
Oh, yeah.
You know that everyone in Reach has to die because they're all Spartans. So I really liked that part of the story.
And I also thought 3 was a good example of how like a campaign can be short, but good. You should.
Have you played Titanfall?
No.
You need to play Titanfall 2. Like you actually need to.
Okay.
Because it's excellent, and it's by the same people who made the campaign for Halo 3.
Oh, really?
No, that's not true. It's by the same people who made the campaign for Call of Duty 4.
Oh.
But it's extremely short. It's like 6 hours long, and it's excellent. It's fantastic. I was completely blown away by it.
I think that's fine.
And the multiplayer is super fun too. And I think it's more active now because it recently got released on Steam because it was on EA's piece of shit. So nobody was playing it.
I think last time we were talking, you mentioned Contact, the game?
Control.
Sorry, Contact.
Control, yeah.
But Control.
It's one word. How are you supposed to remember it?
I don't know.
I'm being serious. I'm not being facetious. Like, it is actually difficult to remember.
But
I love that game. Because you like Remedy, don't you?
Yeah, it's by Remedy, who made like all the first 2 Max Payne games, and Max Payne is like a 5 hour game.
Yeah.
Like seriously, you can play through it in under maybe
I
under 5
short
hours
game.
if you go through it. But it is fantastic. It's a really good game. Yeah. And I'm like, I'd rather have that than like a lengthy grinding session.
Yes. Like I hate the whole like, campaigns should be 20 hours long. Like they should not. They fucking should not.
The minimum, the bare minimum for me is like my preferred length for a video game would be 6 hours, probably.
Yes.
I think that's good.
Because that's like, if you want to do it in like a chill way, you can split that into like 2-hour segments or like 2-3 hour segments, or you can grind the whole thing out in one go.
Yeah,
which is cool.
Yeah, and you could play through
really
it like in a weekend if you'd like, you know.
Yeah, exactly. Because like that was the thing that always put me off of things like The Witcher 3, where I was like, I'm never going to finish this. I'm just never going to finish it. Like, what's the point?
Exactly.
I do own it, and I have played it a few times, but knowing how long it is puts me off because I don't care that much.
Yeah,
and having to like come back to it later and remember who the characters are and
of course. Oh man, you shouldn't play like a BioWare game then, because Jesus Christ.
No, I did actually play Mass Effect 3 when that came out, and I don't remember a single second of it. It's gone from my memory. All I remember is that the A button was used for everything, and it was really frustrating.
I only remember. I remember Mass Effect Andromeda, and I remember my face is tired. That's literally the only line I remember from that game.
Yeah,
I haven't played it, but I just watched the videos on it, and it was just.
Oh yeah, I have.
So funny.
Yeah, I haven't played it. The only Mass Effect game I've played is 3.
I think it was kind of a meme, no? Like my face is tired.
Yeah, well, because all the facial animations were broken because they had to switch engines.
Yeah, but like the main character actually says that, like in response to someone, just like, "Well, not now. My face is tired," or something. This is something like that, and it's like, "Huh? Your face is tired."
I love first draft scripts.
Oh yeah, exactly. But that's there's also a line like that in Oblivion, by the way, where in one of the NPCs, they actually kept. They kept like an outtake. Yeah.
Yes,
you remember
that? Wait, let me do that one again.
Yes.
I love that. That's so funny.
Oblivion is such a rushed mess.
It is. It's so funny though. I love it.
It's funny.
So funny. I love the whole conversation pie thing.
Oh god,
it makes no fucking sense.
I hated the conversation pie.
I had to Google that to find out how it worked when I first started playing it. I was so confused.
I get it. I also figured out how it works, but I still hate it.
Yeah, even when you know how it works, it still sucks.
Yeah, it's so dumb.
Have you played Fallout 4?
No. I played Fallout like up until New Vegas, which is excellent, by the way. New Vegas.
Everyone says New Vegas is excellent, but I haven't got around to playing it yet. I do own it, but I haven't got around to playing it yet.
It is buggy as fuck.
Yeah.
And also, I think the difficulty in New Vegas is broken beyond belief. But if you can get through that, it's an excellent game. It is like so it's like the only game where Fallout game where I like don't skip through the story. Like when I played through Fallout 3, I skipped most of the dialogue just to get through like to the the quest, and to just like every quest was pretty much the same anyway. Yeah, exactly. Just Bethesda's writing.
I played the main story of Skyrim one time.
Yeah, but
when I first got it, and I've never touched it since.
But in New Vegas, the writing is just really good, really on point. Like I actually wanted to read more and hear more about what was going on. It's like amazing. It's almost like I'm invested in this world. What is this?
Wow.
Yeah.
No, that is always amazing when you're playing, because like the bar is so low for video game stories.
Oh yeah, yeah.
Because it's just like I've been burnt before. Like my expectations are through the floor. I don't care. Like it's gonna be garbage. And then I play something like Control, and I'm like so impressed.
You know what? You know what made me realize the potential of games as a storytelling medium?
Oh, I have a game for that as well. Go on.
BioShock.
Okay.
The first BioShock made me realize that. It was just, I thought it was just so like the world and the way the story just was told and like expanded upon. I thought it was so good. I was very much a BioShock fangirl.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I've only played BioShock Infinite for 30 minutes, and then I stopped because I didn't like it.
Well, that's arguably the weakest game. No. I think 2 is the weakest game, honestly.
Okay.
So, yeah.
The game that made me realize that games can do so much from a storytelling perspective was a game called North. And it's this tiny indie game. I'm sure it's made by one person. And it's like a sci-fi, like kind of cyberpunky looking thing that's about being a refugee in a country that you don't know. And you play as like this nondescript being, and everyone around you is this like giant alien, and none of them speak your language, so you can't talk to anyone. Yeah. And you have to like do all of these things and like get all of these things done, and then you have to go to like doctors who like all loom over you. It's like such an experience, and it's so confusing and it's really difficult kind of by design, and it's really, really good. I would recommend it, but it's
sounds interesting.
Almost not a game. Because there's like the gameplay is deliberately boring and like dry and oppressive. So it's like, you know, it's not fun. It's not supposed to be fun. That's not the point. But it's excellent, and I would definitely recommend it. And it's not that expensive either. It's on Steam somewhere, I think. Yeah, it's really great. And I remember walking away from it thinking like, oh my God, games don't have to be about shooting people.
Yeah. It was so
cool, and now my expectations are so much higher.
This episode is basically BleepFox and Rachel recommend games.
Yeah, it's just like play this. Yes. And they're all short too. Like Titanfall 2 and North, you could both play in one day.
Oh wow, yeah,
they're not very long.
Yeah, and also I think BioShock is not that long either. I think you could go through it in like, I think it's like a 7-8 hour game maybe.
Okay, that's fair.
But,
I could probably stream it.
Yeah, I think the biggest problem with the first BioShock is like the final levels.
Okay.
That's always like, I don't know what it is. Like if you've played, have you ever played like System Shock 2, for example?
No. I've heard many things about System Shock games.
Yeah. So the BioShock was created by the same guy who created System Shock 2, specifically the second one. And so it kind of has a lot of the same tropes and a lot of the same game mechanics going on. People always joke that it's like a stripped down version of System Shock 2, which I guess is true, like because System Shock 2 had like lots of RPG elements. But I always kind of argue that like it's just a bit more streamlined, just because it has more story. It focuses a little bit more on the story, and of course you don't want the RPG guff to get in the way of that.
Yeah, that's you're describing what Skyrim wants to be.
Yeah.
Like a stripped down, more enjoyable with a better store. Never mind.
Oh yeah. I hate Bethesda writing with a passion.
It's so garbage.
It really is.
So garbage. It's so boring.
And the thing too is like you have like these Daedras, you know?
Yes. It was so interesting.
Yeah, really interesting on the surface.
Yeah.
What do they do with it? It's just like like every
it's just
Daedra
quest dressing.
Yeah. And they always treat you like a dog, and I fucking hated it. And it's just like
they always do the thing where they treat you like a dog. You do one thing for them, and they're like, you know what? You're going to be my successor now.
Yeah, but not even
they
that.
always turn 180 degrees on you.
Yeah, but
because you do one thing for them.
But the thing that I hate is that in Skyrim, all the Daedra quests, they always the Daedra always just talks to you, and then they're like, "Aha, I'm this big awesome guy. I'm super strong, and kneel before me," and. Then they're like, are you gonna do this thing for me, like the humble slave that you are? And it's like, well, yeah, I want to fulfill all the quests, you know, that's kind of the point of the game.
Like, get on with it. I'm just trying to 100% this, like I don't care.
Yeah, and then you do the quest, and then they're like, haha, I knew you would come back to me, because that's just the slave you are. It's
because
like,
you had other option to fulfill this quest.
Yeah, exactly. Like at least give me the option to spit in his face or something. No, the only other option I have is just to walk away like some fucking asshole. I don't know.
Yeah,
that turns me
not
out.
Do the quest.
Yeah, it's just it's just such shit writing. Like Bethesda.
You know what was really good? One of the last games I played that was really excellent was Cloudpunk. I played it on stream, and that was a weird experience because Cloudpunk starts very weak and it's kind of dull, and then it gets really good like as it goes on, and then the ending is excellent. So it's like got the opposite quality curve of games that I'm used to, where they have a really strong start and then they just get weaker and weaker and weaker as you play them.
Yeah.
No, it's excellent. That's a good game. And that actually has that thing that we were just talking about where someone will give you a quest to do a thing and they're like, oh, make sure you do it, you little bitch.
Yes.
Because I told you to. And you can also not do it. You can do something else.
Yeah, that's how it should be.
Cool.
Like, okay,
that's
like,
how it should be, yeah.
If you're gonna do something like that, at least give me the options. You just, like
there's
to defy
There's
them.
one quest really, really early where you're clearly delivering a bomb. And you can either deliver it where you've been told to deliver it, or you can put it down a garbage chute that goes into the ocean.
Nice.
But that's like super early, so that's barely even a spoiler. But it's a great game. It's really good. And it's not
RPG
that long. It's like an RPG. But there's no like progression or anything. It's just like a bunch of quests in a row. And there's like a bunch of side quests lying around the world as well, which I will go back to at some point and play that on stream because I said that I would, and I do want to.
100%.
Yeah, I haven't. The only game I've ever 100%ed with that was Abzu because it's so short.
I don't think I know that game. That's gonna be my answer to like 90% games.
Do you remember Journey?
Oh yeah, it's the
PS3. It's got the same art director
as
cool. Journey, so it looks kind of similar, but it's like you're like swimming around in the ocean, and you go through different areas, and I can probably beat that game in under 2 hours.
Oh wow!
But there's collectibles and stuff like that.
Speedrunner.
Yeah, that's 90%. Probably the only game I could speedrun because I know it so well.
Wow. So what is like the oldest game you can remember playing? Just curious.
Does Quake count?
Yeah, I think that counts.
Because I played that on my mum's iMac when I was a kid.
Oh, wow, on the iMac. Wow.
Yeah.
That's an experience. Yeah. You know what I remember playing
with an optical mouse.
Oh, wow.
With no right click.
I played it. I first played I first played Quake on MS-DOS in software mode. And it was a bit with just the keyboard because
Oh yeah.
And it sucked.
Yeah.
It was horrible.
I can't think of any. I don't think that was the first video game I ever played, but I think it's technically the oldest video game that I've played. It's Quake, but
like the first
it was
Quake,
probably something on the Game Boy Advance.
Game Boy Advance. Wow.
I think I did play Pokemon on the Game Boy Color for like 25 seconds once when I was like 6.
No, and you were like, "What is this old crap?"
Yeah, and someone hands it to me, and I'm like, "Oh, what do I do?" And they're like, "Never mind," and they just take it off me again.
Oh, that's kind of mean, but
oh well, I was like 4 or something. I don't know. I'm extrapolating the memory because I know that it happened, but I don't actually remember it.
Oh, like that.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think I played a lot of DOS games too growing up.
Wow, I've never touched DOS.
Never?
Never.
Man. Okay, so if I could like show our listeners what I have standing next to me right now, I have over here. Maybe you can hear the clickety clack of the keyboard.
A little bit.
I'll
noise gate it out there so that the listeners won't be able to hear it because I noise gate all of the vocals.
Okay, well, just use your imagination then, listeners. But
I'll add the sound effects.
That is an actual Amiga, Commodore Amiga 500.
Oh,
and that's a machine.
I do have knowledge of that existing, and that's about as far as I go with that one.
Basically, the Amiga was the successor to the Commodore 64. So that's how you probably know it.
I do occasionally watch retro computing videos on YouTube.
Oh yeah, I watch them a lot too.
I watch a lot of the 8-bit guy.
Oh, I love the 8-bit guy. Yeah, that's amazing.
I love the 8-bit guy. He's got the same vibe as like Techmoan for me.
Oh yeah, I was
like,
Techmoan
come on,
too.
bore me, do it.
Yeah. Oh yeah, come on.
I love that.
I don't
I
get
love that
bored.
content.
I actually get really engaged. I guess I'm just really boring myself. But,
No, I do find them engaging, but in like a very
laid back, low key.
Yeah, in a very low key kind of like,
Yeah.
kind of way.
Well,
I'm not like
especially-
jazzed about it. It's just cool.
But especially like the restoration stuff. That's just
Yes, that's cool.
so satisfying. And,
I do remember I can't let go of the memory of watching the 8-bit guy cover a leather handle in bleach and then being surprised when it was ruined. Like, that really upset me. I was like, God damn it.
Yeah.
So annoyed.
He knows something about like, retro brighting and all that stuff.
Yeah.
But,
he tried to retrobrite leather and it didn't go well.
I think I know that episode. Wasn't that like an Osborne computer? I think it is.
It was one of the portable quotation computers.
There might be like the Osborne or like the compact clones of that he.
I think it was an Osborne.
Yeah. Wow, I can't believe I actually remember that. Wow, I have memory.
Yeah, it's burned into my eyes. We're seeing it wrapped in cling film with all the white goo on it, and then like this didn't go very well, and then it's all like cracked and nasty, and it's like, oh no, no. I do love watching him restore like old keyboards and old computers and stuff like that. It's so much fun. I do love watching it.
Internal fuck screaming.
Yeah. I need to retrobrite my GameCube a little bit. I need to get around to doing that.
Yeah, another computer that I have sitting over here is the ZX Spectrum.
Oh, wow.
Yeah. So that should be familiar to you, I think. Maybe.
I'm aware of it.
Yeah, because that's like the British original,
But yeah, Britain.
British.
Yeah.
Britain.
Yeah. But, I think No. I was going to say I think my dad had one, but I don't think he did. He had an Atari 2600.
Oh yeah, I have one of those too, actually.
I don't think he had a ZX Spectrum.
I have one of those too. But the 2600 is like an actual console. While the Amiga 500 and the ZX Spectrum, those are actually like home computers. So you could actually program your own software on it if you like.
The ZX Spectrum has those like membrane buttons, right? Am I thinking about the right one?
Yes, some models do. Like the early ones do.
Yeah.
But the one that we have, I should say, it's like the... What version is it again? I can't remember. But it has like proper buttons. It has proper buttons, yeah. It's like a re-release version that came out after a year later or something.
Oh, okay,
Yeah. I also own a Dreamcast.
That's cool. Dreamcasts are weird. I'd like one.
I have a PlayStation 2, PlayStation 1.
I'd like a PS2. I keep thinking about getting one and then I never get around to it.
I also have a Nintendo 64.
Ooh.
I've
actually played on a Nintendo 64 because I went on holiday somewhere and the house we went on holiday to just had one.
Oh.
So I played Ocarina of Time.
Oh, nice. Oh, that's kind of friendly of them, I suppose.
Yeah.
And what else do I have? Oh yeah, I used to have an original Xbox, but I sold that off.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, because of money.
I sold
issues.
all of my GameCube games to pay for my first computer.
Oh.
So I don't have any of those anymore. Which is kind of sad. But also fine because I wouldn't play them anyway. Even if I had them.
that's probably that's exactly the point that I got at when I basically I had a pretty good collection going. I guess I still do in a way, but you just get to a point where it's like, okay, I can never play one of these things like all the time, So it's mostly just for decoration, and I mean, which in itself is okay. Like it's fun.
That's
as like a
it's
like okay as a conversation starter, But like to actually play on, it's actually quite annoying, Like having to set up an Amiga, for example, like an Amiga 500. It's quite an annoying task. You also have to make do with the AV connection module that needs to connect to it before you can actually put it to hook it to like a TV, and that TV needs to have AV in because otherwise it just doesn't work. And it's like, okay, good luck finding a TV that still supports that nowadays. You know, everything is HDMI these days.
I have a couple of these 4x3 Sony monitors that I've just had sat like in the corner of my room because I don't know what to do with them. I don't want to like bin either of them because they both work. But like they've got kind of weird connectors for like a old plasma kind of like deal. But I need to properly look up what they are.
Well, you're on a or this window I should say is on a I was gonna say 4x3, but I think it's like 4x5 or something monitor. So
I might have you beat on that one because you're on a vertical 21x9 monitor.
Okay, yeah.
You are very long.
I'm well,
Telegram is
I am
5 foot tall for me right now.
Oh, gee. Well,
it's not. It's like 3 foot. Probably 3 foot tall.
I'm not really good at freedom numbers, but
yeah, I'm not that good either. I just put my foot up to it to see if I can guess. That's how that works, right?
Yeah, I think so.
Yeah. Or is that paces?
Yeah, I don't know. That's
my school taught me how to do paces. That was one of the weirder ones.
No,
we had a lesson on how to do.
Paces is like in meters. At least it was for me. And it's always funny to me. It is a bit of a tangent, but one thing that a lot of American friends have always told me is that like, well, I don't like meters because I can't visualize meters. And I'm like, well, that's bullshit because like when I was
not used to it.
Yeah, because like when I was in like elementary, one of the first things that the teachers taught us was to use our paces to measure like a single meter. So like every pace is like around 1 meter, like, you know, average.
That seems
obviously.
Like a waste of time to teach children who are still going to grow.
Well, yeah, obviously, but it's it's like a big pace, you know. But it's just like an average.
You teach a kid how far a pace is as a meter. By the time they're 45, their paces are like 3 meters long.
Well, like a step, I should say. And
yeah.
Like,
no, I do know what you mean. Our secondary school taught us that.
But like, your feet are not going to be the same size either.
Yeah.
I mean, like my boyfriend, for example, has really dainty feet. But like, if you compare it to like, I don't know, to my feet or somebody else's feet, that's also going to be quite different.
This is the first and last time we will discuss feet on this podcast.
I've had enough of this feet talk.
There's no more feet, please.
Okay.
No, actually, I do want to ask you one thing about feet, and that's: did you lose shoe sizes when you went on HRT? Because I did.
That's a good question. Actually, I'm not sure.
I went from 10.5 to 9, I think.
I think so, but like with everything with concerning like hormones and stuff, it's really up for the debate. Like
it happens so slowly; it's really difficult.
Yeah, exactly.
To tell. But the only reason I knew is because I bought shoes right before I started HRT, and then within 4 months, I couldn't wear them anymore because I was like sliding around inside of them because they were just so big.
The only thing I immediately noticed was the change of body odor.
Yes.
That was really weird. Like I remember like when I was like on it for like 6 months, I distinctly remember me sitting just behind my computer and I would like I would like smell something and I would be like who is that? Yeah, like who is in the room with us? And I'm like I was like, oh shit, that's me.
I've actually also, this is bullshit. Before HRT, I didn't smell of anything and I barely sweat, which was great.
Yeah.
And now I smell if I don't do anything about it, which is bullshit. Yeah. That's really annoying. I don't want to deal with that.
Almost sounds like you're going the other direction.
Yeah. I feel like Puberty 1 didn't really get the job done for me. So Puberty 2 Electric Boogaloo might go a bit harder.
Electric Boogaloo, yeah. Oh, gee.
No, I'm having a good time of it, but there's some stuff that I'm like, what? Are you serious? Do I have to deal with this now?
Yeah.
But it's only that, really. Not
yeah,
much
same.
else. What we're talking about, like childhood gaming. So what were your consoles when you were a kid? Like between the ages of like 0 and like 18?
Well, I wasn't allowed to get like any like computers in the house or whatever. Like my parents were like very like staunchly like opposed to just computers in general, and they thought it was just some dumb thing.
It's the devil's work.
Yeah, they weren't like super religious or something. They were just like that. And but we did have like we did eventually get a family computer, which of course had like MS DOS. So I tried everything to just run games on it. And but before that, the aforementioned nephew had like an original NES that I played games on whenever I was over. And I also remember, okay, so I had a babysitter when I was like really small. And so we just made an appointment where my parents were just gone. So we made an appointment where I was to visit her after school. So, okay, fine, just go there. And so, and she would put me just behind her original NES to play Paperboy. Don't know if you remember that game. And
yeah, I'm aware of that one.
Yeah. So and I remember, and I was like, okay, whatever, I'll just play this. And I remember I loved it so much that I actually just contacted her again through my mom. And just asked her, like, hey, can I visit some more? Because I really want to play on the Nintendo.
I want to play Paperboy.
Yeah, I just want to play more Paperboy. And yeah, that's so it kind of became more of a regular thing.
Yeah, when I was a kid, I think my first childminder, which is the same thing as a babysitter, but I went to their house instead of them coming to mine.
Oh, yeah, I guess
the only thing.
Yeah.
I just remembered that I did try to play Tomb Raider on their computer once.
Oh, yeah.
So that's probably the earliest gaming memory I have, even though I don't remember it. But I think I remember something to do with that. Or maybe, I think someone found me playing it and they were like, you're not allowed to play that. And I was like, oh, okay.
Yeah. I remember I played the original Tomb Raider on MS-DOS, I believe. And I remember playing it and thinking to myself, wow, this looks really good, but it plays like shit.
Yes. I remember thinking that for the Tomb Raider game that I had on the PSP.
Yeah. It plays like shit. And it
plays like garbage.
And the thing is too, like, this is like a hotly debated topic for some reason. It's
There's
like,
no debate. Tomb Raider plays like shit.
No, it's not like, okay, well, there's like the people who are just realistic about it, and you just say like, well, it plays like shit. And then there's like a whole swath of people who go like, well, it's supposed to be just rough because it's realistic, and it's supposed to be like Prince of Persia, and it's like, what the fuck?
Nobody can shoot two pistols at the same time and hit what they're aiming at.
Oh yeah,
it's not that your argument falls flat instantly.
Yeah.
No, that game plays like garbage. There are plenty of old games that play like garbage, and it doesn't matter that much because you kind of expect it. It's fine, but you got to be real. Yeah. Tomb Raider plays like garbage.
there was this girl or woman at HDQ who did like a speed run of like all the classic Tomb Raider games, and I was just in awe. I was just,
that's sweet.
Yeah, I was looking at it and I was like, how can you play through these games, let alone play through them fast? Like,
yeah,
God
that's
damn.
Always impressive when someone's speed running a game that controls like garbage. Because it's like, not only are you excellent at this video game, you're excellent at a video game that is borderline impossible to play anyway.
Yeah. Speaking of garbage, did you ever play Bubsy 3D?
No, I did not.
No,
I've heard many a tale of Bubsy 3D.
So shit. It's so
I
bad.
played a lot of shovelware on the Wii. A lot. Yeah. I have a lot of Wii games, hundreds maybe. But like mostly shovelware, absolute garbage.
Yes. Oh man. Oh, if you want garbage, like shovelware garbage, you should get a PlayStation 2.
Yes.
I don't know what it is with the PlayStation 2 and just having so many like garbage games. I don't know what it is.
The Wii is like that as well. I think it was like because like that was the problem with the Wii U, was that it was difficult to develop for, and Nintendo were really cagey about who they would let develop for it because the Wii was full of shovelware.
Oh yeah.
Which is why it was like the Wii U was like doubly difficult to develop for, because it just was anyway, because it's a weird console. And then Nintendo also were being really picky about who can develop for their platforms. Because the Wii, oh my god, the shovelware on the Wii. Unbelievable.
And you know what I also admire, by the way, is programmers back in the day. So and I don't know how nerdy you are in that regard, but like nowadays you have like these things called high level programming languages. So basically that's like Python or I don't know.
Yeah, and then you need to run them through a thing to get them to work.
Yeah,
like
but
to interface with the hardware properly.
Yeah, exactly. So, but if you look at like a couple of lines of like Python code or even C code, you can kind of look at it and you
kind of tell kind of what's going on.
Yeah, exactly. But back on, back in the days of like the NES and even the SNES, these machines were like really limited. So the memory, for example, was just like a few bytes or whatever, like really shit. Yeah. And so everything had to be done in machine language, like in assembly.
So you're referencing actual memory addresses and shit like that.
Yeah, and that's one thing that a lot of people don't get. Like when you like technically illiterate gamers would say like, well, it's pretty easy to just make a platform game, just plowing stuff on the screen, And I'm like, well, back in the day, like if you make like a Nintendo game, like just a simple platformer, you would sometimes, and you could see this on the early Nintendo games a lot. If you start scrolling, you could kind of see like some garbage pixels on the side of the window. That was basically an artifact of the game putting things on the screen as you moved around.
As memory.
Yeah. So it was like, and that's also the reason why if you had like a projectile, it would usually never hit anything off screen.
Because it would run into the limit of the
because
screen.
It was just not there yet, because it can only render the things that are on the screen and literally nothing else.
Yeah.
So
and like the it sounds like the modern equivalent of things like screen space ambient occlusion and screen space reflections and stuff like that, where like all you have is the screen and then you just use that to like mirror things or like guess at where ambient occlusion is supposed to be and stuff like that. And it's kind of jank, and when you understand how it works, you can kind of look for the weirdness that comes with it.
Especially,
and that's the kind of thing that like things like RTX like eliminate, and that's why it can look not just like kind of better, but also like more solid in a weird way, where like you can't break it by walking in front of things and stuff like that.
I still play a lot of games where the ambient occlusion breaks a lot. So I used to be, or I still kind of am, a big like Doom modding enthusiast.
Oh yeah,
and I made it's just retro. It's fitting.
Retro.
But I made a map last year, I believe, and it was a remake of an old Counter-Strike map.
Oh yeah,
of an unofficial Counter-Strike map.
Yeah,
and that was called Pool Day. And it probably doesn't ring any bells for you, but it was basically
I never played Counter-Strike.
Sorry.
I never played any of the Counter-Strike.
Well, it was basically
it
was kind of like a fun map. It was like a small pool. It was basically.
Okay.
And I made like a one-on-one remake of that map, like in all my autistic nerdiness. And yes, I really went all out on like the details. Like it's one-on-one.
Yeah.
And with like a modern source board that I made it for, GZ Doom, has support for ambient occlusion. And I remember, like, if you have like a details, like for example, like the toilet that are made out of like little 3D floors and such.
Yeah.
Like if I looked at that, like the ambient occlusion, you just go bananas. It looked like absolute shit. So,
my favorite Minecraft loading hint that I reference all the time is don't look directly at the bugs. I reference it all the time whenever I'm playing indie games. Whenever I see a bug, I'm like, I do not see it. I will not look at it. Because I respect the grind of making a game and that it's hard as fuck. So whenever I see anything break, I'm like, I don't know what you're talking about. I don't see it.
Well, it still pays to report the bugs. But
yeah, I know. But like, they're obvious. So I'm always just like, they already know about that. Like, there's no point in me whining about how this disappears when you look at this thing or something. Like, they know.
Yeah, it's kind of like...
pretend I don't see it. It's fine.
It's kind of like Phasmophobia, too. Like, whenever I play that, it's like, I know so many bugs in the game now.
Yeah, well, it's just kind of the expectation, isn't it? Because you're like, well, I know I'm playing an indie game, so as long as it plays well, like, it doesn't really make a difference. As long as nothing's, like, properly game-breaking, it's fine.
Yeah, and in that sense, it's kind of like weird how you have like these game studios that have like literally millions of dollars behind them.
Yeah,
and they somehow still have like 1,000 bugs.
Well, I feel like a lot of the time, obviously, full disclosure, I know essentially jack shit about game development, but I feel like when you have a giant team with millions of dollars, it doesn't actually correlate to being able to make a bigger game because it's so difficult to organize that kind of thing. I feel like that isn't really much to do with, any actual ability of programmers or artists or anything like that. It's like a logistical nightmare to try and get all of those different departments of people who all have managers and managers and try and get them all to make one thing. It's amazing that those games can even get made. Yeah. And it is kind of unacceptable that they're so broken half the time. But I feel like we've driven, well, I mean, not we, but like the gaming community has kind of backed itself into a corner where games have to get bigger every year. Otherwise, they're disappointing. When in reality, they should probably get smaller and be made by smaller teams who care more and are being paid properly.
And that's also the thing with like, I hate how big developers function nowadays. They basically and Bethesda is nowadays is also guilty of this. And of course, like CD Projekt Red does it. And BioWare has also done it, where they basically create like a really cool looking trailer.
Yes.
And then in the coming 4 years or so, they just they try to just mimic that trailer. That trailer is just is not actually gameplay. They just try to mimic it with whatever money they have left.
They make a promise and then they try to meet the promise.
Yeah, exactly. I feel that's so backwards, and I feel the workers are just like they're the shitty end of the stick in all of that, because you know,
absolutely.
And then you have these guys of like CD Projekt Red. They say like, well, we don't, there's no grinding going on here, like what did I call it? Crunch.
Yeah. The thing with a lot of it though, because like it's so gross to release a trailer for something that you've barely started.
Yeah.
Like I get why they do it, because it's obviously it's like hype stuff, like, I get it.
Mm-hmm.
But like even things like No Man's Sky, which was through and through an indie game, that Sony were like, oh, this is going to be sweet, so we'll promote it really heavily because it's going to be cool. But it's not made by enough people to fulfill the promises that were made, and it was doomed from the start because it just didn't deserve that kind of treatment from someone like Sony, with the unlimited amount of clout that Sony has when they say, yeah, we're making this thing and it's going to be amazing. Like, yeah, of course it will be. It's Sony. But actually, it's not Sony. They're just outputting a thing that someone else is making.
Oh yeah, definitely. Yeah. Yeah, you see that a lot.
Yeah, but like that was the thing, because obviously when I was a kid, E3 was so exciting, and like, you know, I love all the trailers, and I would get so jazzed about the whole thing, and like it was so exciting. But now it just feels shitty, because you just kind of sit there and like, yeah, this is a pre-rendered trailer, and this game might never come out. It might just never exist again.
Mm-hmm.
And there are so many trailers that I must have seen by now that I've forgotten about, where the game never happened. It was promised, or like they made a trailer for it, and then they were just like, oops, we actually hadn't started that yet, and now we want to scrap it. We'll just not tell anyone.
Yeah, I think that, with like Cyberpunk, like the rumor is that they've only started developing it like on the last 2 years or something.
I mean, sure, you know, like it's possible. It's entirely possible that they spent the first 2 years just getting art direction how they wanted it. Just sitting around, you know, getting loads of concept art done, trying to decide what game they're going to make, and then spend 2 years actually making it. But like the trailer thing is kind of weird, but it also adds up if you look at it from the perspective of like movie trailers. Because like the Sonic movie trailer is a great example, because trailers for movies, when they come out, are usually made up of pretty much all of the footage that's been shot.
Oh, yeah.
Because they're that early in production, which is why when that Sonic movie trailer came out, they could like redo the 3D model. But like games are even worse, where they're like, this game does not exist and we're going to start promoting it. Everyone knows that's a bad idea.
I still want to see the original render of the Sonic movie. I want to see Nightmare Sonic.
That's probably all of it, though. That's the thing. Is that
you think so?
That trailer is probably all of the footage they had of that model
probably,
rendered out, because it would take fucking forever to render. So it would be, they would have rendered out the shots they knew that they were going to use in the trailer, and then would have started doing the ones that they actually needed to do for production.
Well, in that case, I just want to see it done all over again with Nightmare Sonic.
Yeah, start over.
Yes,
go back to Sonic with human teeth.
yes. I'm here for it, because
we all love Sonic. Everyone loves Sonic. Sonic is great. It's just that all of the content is terrible. Apart from that movie, apparently, which people really liked. I haven't seen it.
Yeah, I haven't seen it either. But like, I don't know. Like nowadays, I just get such joy out of just seeing Sega just destroy Sonic's reputation. I don't know what it is.
When Sonic Boom came out, and there was immediately a Game Grumps episode about it, and they open it with Aaron saying, "I've heard this game is garbage," and I was like, yes.
Yes.
I'm so happy. At this point, if there was an amazing Sonic game, nobody would give a shit.
Well,
nobody would care.
There is one game that is said to be really amazing, which is Sonic Mania. And guess what? That's actually
that's
a
just
fan
an
game.
Old game again.
No, that's not. It's not an old game. It's a new game made by a fan.
Yeah, it was made by fans that they immediately fired.
Basically.
Yeah.
Well,
standard.
Yeah, but it came from like a project of somebody basically really liked Sonic, and they wanted to create like their own Sonic fan game, and it just kind of turned into its own thing.
I tried it on the PlayStation 4, and it was very jank.
Oh, really?
It was quite janky, which is really weird, because when you look at it on like the PlayStation Store, it looks like a AAA game.
Yeah.
You know, it feels like that. And then when you try and play split screen, it's like stretched instead of cropped. Like it's all kinds of like weird stuff. And it's like, is this really a AAA game? Really?
That must be Sega's decision or something. I don't know.
Yeah, I don't know. But that's the same thing as like No Man's Sky. It's an indie game backed by an enormous developer to make you feel like it's a AAA game, but it isn't.
It's kind of sad, isn't it?
Yeah, which is really sad, because like indie games are great.
Yeah,
they're amazing. I love them, but you can't come at them with the expectation of them being AAA because it's just unreasonable. There's no way that you can get anything like that done.
Money is always just a big issue. Yeah. It's, I recently bought Payday 2 on Steam, which I've been playing.
Yeah. You've been streaming that.
Yeah, I've been streaming that.
Yeah, and, I did watch that a little bit.
Yay. But
I watched it with my girlfriend.
Yay. But a friend of mine, basically, because I was like basically asking myself, like, why does this game have like 1 million DLCs? And it really has like 1 million DLCs.
It's like Train Simulator.
Yeah. And so, but my good friend basically told me that, well, the publisher, Starbreeze Studios, which is like a Swedish game publisher, apparently they had developed like their own sort of like Oculus Rift knockoff. Which did really poorly and was like a really big financial flop for them.
Oh dear.
And so...
Speaking of which, I ordered a Rift S today.
Nice. Oh, Rift S. Yeah, that's cheaper. Yeah. I want one too, actually. But
I was sat last night thinking like, I need to move more. I'll get VR as like exercise equipment.
Yeah, exercise during the lockdown.
Yeah, because I don't move.
But basically... They were like in a position where they didn't have a lot of money left and they were about to go under. But of course, they published one game that did pretty well, which was, of course, the Payday.
Yeah.
And Payday 2 had just about came out. So that's what they did.
They just churn out DLC for it.
Yes, they just churned out DLC after DLC just to milk it.
I respect the grind. That's a great idea. Yeah. Do you know the story of why Final Fantasy is called Final Fantasy?
No.
Because the developer was about to go under, and they were like, we'll make one more game, and the guy named it Final Fantasy because he was like, this is the last game I'm ever going to make.
Oh wow!
And now we're on fucking 27 or something. I don't know.
Oh god, I never liked Final Fantasy games.
I never got into them. I have 15 and I played it a bit and it's extremely cool. Don't get me wrong. It looks amazing. It looks incredible. But I don't enjoy it.
I only remember seeing, when I think of Final Fantasy, I think of like the really old school RPGs that have aged like milk.
Yeah.
And
I think of the movies, which have also aged like milk.
Okay,
I really want to sit and watch Advent Children again. It's dubbed so badly. I really want to watch it again.
But I actually played like the first few Final Fantasy games on the GBA of all things, because they released they were released as like remakes. And
yeah. I think I remember seeing them like on like a store shelf at some point.
Yeah, they are objectively bad RPGs. I think. Like, okay, literally like 99% of the game is grinding. Just literally just grinding on the overworld, waiting until you hit like a monster party and fighting. That's 99% of the
thing
game.
That I instantly noticed about Final Fantasy 15 was the fact that levels actually matter.
Yeah.
Like, I remember being level 14 and trying to fight a crab that was level 15 and it destroyed me. Handily, because it was one level above me, and I was like, "Oh, this is not a Western RPG."
Yeah, but just the thing that, like, I don't know, just the amount of grinding you need to do just to level up. I don't know. I got so sick of it. I did like an entire like afternoon of just grinding, and I still wasn't strong enough to just even like to face like the first boss or something. And I just put it down, and I was like, okay, well, just fuck this game. Like seriously, call me like I don't know, spoiled or something.
Yeah, but spoiled Westerner.
Yeah, yes. I mean,
all your games are too easy.
This is not game. Like
well, that's how I feel about WoW.
Oh yeah, that's also not a game. Let's just grind. It's just, but like I don't know. Like I think a game as a medium should have like a beginning, middle, and end. Just doesn't even have to. It doesn't even have to be like a story or something. But of course, it depends on the game. I mean, like a single player game, just in general. But I don't know if a game is just like mostly just doing one task, and it's not a fun task. I don't know. Then I don't know.
A lot of them are, you have to be the kind of person that gets satisfied by watching the numbers go up.
Yeah.
Which I don't think I am, and then I play games like Slime Rancher, and they get their teeth in me, and I can't stop. So like maybe I am, I don't know, but yeah, a cool thing that I've seen emerging now is games that are nothing but the systems that govern them. Games like Breath of the Wild, where like the world is a system. Things make other things happen.
Yeah.
Like you set something on fire and then that creates an updraft and then you can like paraglide up with the fire and stuff like that. Like if you put an apple next to a fire, it cooks it. Stuff like that is, I can't remember who it was. I can't remember her name, but I think she was a developer from Ubisoft, was talking about how their mantra for developing games right now is to create a world that operates on its own without the player and then put the player in it.
Speaking of Ubisoft, did you ever play the first Rayman games?
No, I did not.
Good, because it's a completely unfair, sadistic piece of software that nobody should play. The first game is. The second and third one are excellent, but the first one is sadistic.
Okay. Ubisoft, for me, suddenly became part of gaming for me when I played Far Cry 3. Which was
Far Cry 3.
Huge deal to me when I was a kid.
Really?
I was like, this is amazing. Bear in mind, I grew up on a GameCube. So like, everything is amazing. Like, I used to think that being able to get in vehicles in Halo 3 was like incredible.
Well, I mean, like, but like Far Cry 3 was another game where I felt like I was doing the same thing over and over and over.
Yeah, but the same thing is fun though.
No, well, that's where I disagreed.
This is the thing coming through where the game gives me a small task. And I'm like,
yeah, I guess so.
I just keep doing it over and over.
But like, I don't know, like the conquering the villages, I thought it was pretty easy. But the fact that you had to do it like so many times was just like, okay, now I know how the game is going to be, and I just look at the map screen, and I'm like, I have all of this to go. Okay, now I just have better things to do with my time.
I did that with Far Cry 4, actually. I booted up Far Cry 4, I played it for an hour, I opened the map and went, absolutely not. And then I closed it and I never opened it again.
Exactly. Let's just and every Ubisoft game is like that.
I loved it so much, I reset all the settlements after I completed the game and then did them all again.
Why is every Ubisoft game like that these days? I don't get it.
Because it worked with Far Cry 3 and now they're just like kicking this dead cow. Trying to get more content out of it.
You know what is an excellent game, by the way, a Ubisoft game? Rayman Origins.
I've heard exclusively excellent things about Rayman
Origins. It's really good, really good. Yeah,
that's all I've heard. I haven't heard a single bad word about it.
Yeah. The only thing that sucks is that it's not on Steam, and you have to go on to like Ubisoft's
You know what sucks is I have a bunch of Ubisoft games that I own on Steam, but I can't play any of them because they're on an old Uplay account that I can't get into.
Fucking Uplay.
Fucking
garbage.
Uplay. This is the official CritCast note. Fuck Uplay.
Yes.
Fuck Uplay. We're going down on record as saying fuck Uplay.
We're going to go for
irritating.
Crit play.
Yeah.
It's going to be
You know what was really funny as well is I actually tried to get one of the games moved to my new Uplay account. And I opened the support thing and I spoke to someone at support and they were like, oh yeah, if you've bought it yourself, you can transfer it. If it was gifted to you, you can't transfer it.
That's dumb.
And I was like, shit, it was gifted to me. And he was like, yeah, you can't transfer it then. And I said, okay, whatever. Far Cry 4 isn't that good of a game. And he went, yeah, it's not.
Okay.
was like, thanks, Ubisoft support.
Yeah, what? Okay.
Cool.
Good.
I'll tell you what is a good Ubisoft game is Watch Dogs 2. I liked that game.
I haven't played it.
It's a bit long.
Watch Dogs is another game where they made the trailer first and made a game afterwards.
They fucked that. They completely fucked that because the trailer looked amazing at E3, and then the game looked like GTA 4.
Yeah.
So it looked garbage. Apart from his coat, the main character's coat has really good
Nico,
physics.
go bowling. Let's go bowling, Nico.
I started playing GTA Online with my girlfriend, and that game is just pop-ups. There's nothing else to that game. It's just pop-ups, and it drives me insane. I get so overstimulated playing that game.
GTA Online?
Because it's just constant notification sounds and pop-ups and text. And,
yeah, it is.
Oh, God.
I think GTA Online is... I don't think it is a good game.
It's garbage.
Yeah.
It's stupid. It's so stupid. We were me and my girlfriend were playing it and ranting about it together at the same time because you can't just walk up to a mission and play it.
No,
you have to go into a lobby and pair up with random assholes on the internet. Like I'm playing with my girlfriend for a reason.
Yes, I know.
I just want to play this with my girlfriend. I don't want two other random dudes in our lobby. I know.
Oh my god. Okay, but I've had the same thing. I played GTA Online with my boyfriend, and he was like, we were both like, okay, let's do some shit together. Okay.
Yeah.
No. Okay, let's buy a house together. No. Well, okay, what can you do together then? It's like, okay, we could just see each other, I guess, and we can shoot a thing.
Yeah, we just robbed liquor stores over and over again.
That's
all we did.
That's also what I did. It was just like Payday, but like diet Payday. Yeah,
diet Payday with really annoying cop dynamics.
Oh yeah.
Where they just spawn in front of you. So annoying.
The cops are
Watch
also
Dogs 2 is better at that than GTA 5 is.
The cops are also just like relentless, like to the point where they're like suicidal in GTA 5.
Yeah, they're ridiculous.
Yeah.
It's so stupid. It's so dumb. It's not a good game.
No. Well, the single player I thought was okay. But
I hated it. I absolutely hated it. Yeah. I have strong feelings about GTA 5 single player. I absolutely despised it. I've tried multiple times to play it and I hate it. It annoys me so much.
I completed it all the way through. Okay, it does have the Rockstar stamp of awful mission designs here and there.
Yeah.
I don't know what it is. I don't know why at some points the game can just point you towards a thing and other points it can't. Like, why?
Yeah.
Why does it just break that? Like, why does it break its own rule like that? Like, I hate it.
My favorite thing that we did that was really, really funny was me and my girlfriend got in a car together and I was like, let's go and do this mission. So we drive to the mission and then we get to the mission and then we start the mission with two random people because we're like, okay, fine, we'll do that. So it teleports us somewhere else, and then we have to drive to the mission.
Oh yeah.
Again, it's so weird.
Oh,
it's so dumb. You have this whole world that's supposed to just kind of work, and then you unload the whole thing and reload it again so that you can start a mission. Like it's so stupid.
And nowadays, GTA Online is pretty much just a glorified like Trackmania game.
Like gambling machine as well, because
and that too, yeah. Oh, the shark cards. Yeah. Oh, fuck that.
That's brutal.
Yeah,
that's awful. Because like there are so many kids that are so into GTA Online, like actual children.
Yeah, I know.
That will like ask their parents to buy them shark cards and like blow loads of actual real money at like a virtual casino.
Yeah,
and they're like 15.
Yeah, I know.
Which, to be fair, your kids shouldn't be playing an 18 when they're 15. But as a parent, it is up to you.
I've had an argument.
Is how it works.
I've had an argument about this with my sibling some like 10 something years ago. And so like full disclosure, well, we completely hate each other. And basically, he hates video games, and part of why he hates video games is, in his own words, is because it's very violent, and it allows kids to just like be completely violent in video games. And one of his examples of this was, of course, GTA.
Yeah,
and he's a teacher, and he always and he told me that, like, in his own anecdotes, that, well, I have these parents, and they tell me that their kid is always playing GTA at home, with these violent video games where they beat up prostitutes, and like, okay, but who bought that game for them then?
Yeah. Who lets them play that game?
Well, they would get their hands on it anyway. And it's like, what? No, what the fuck? Like, how would they get their hands on it? Like,
yeah, like, so weird. I remember my nan asking me once, because she does have an interest in like games and like content creation culture and that kind of stuff, because it's very alien to her. And she does ask me about it fairly regularly. I remember her asking me, do violent video games make people violent? And I think I was probably about like 15 when she asked me. And I was like, well, if you have a propensity for violence anyway, if you're already kind of maybe unwell, or you're into that kind of thing through other reasons, yeah, probably. But if you're like relatively stable and like, perfectly capable of distinguishing between media and real life, no. And like, when I was a kid, I had such a high tolerance for violence, and that tolerance has lowered as I've gotten older for some reason. I remember seeing a trailer for one of the new Mortal Kombats and actually being kind of disgusted. Because I was like, this is actually gross. Like, I get why people want it, because like, oh my God, you can see that guy's ribcage explode. Like, cool. But like, why? Like, it's just so over the top and crazy. And like, I've heard so many stories of the developers of that game having like PTSD and having lots of like problems with mental health, because they spend all their time making gore by hand. Like, it's crazy. Like, I get it to a degree, but at the same time, it's like, you can do so much more gory things in a video game than you can in a movie. Yeah,
that's true.
Because you can get so much closer, and it can be so much more clear and visceral.
I think gore, as somebody, I used to be like a
it has its place. I'm not saying, yeah, just to be clear.
I used to be like a huge horror fan. I still kind of am. But I think gore has its place, but I think it needs to be like, you don't want the viewers to get desensitized to it. If you just use it all the time, it just becomes, Yeah,
absolutely. Well, it's no different to horror. You can't make the whole movie scary all the way through. Otherwise, it's not scary, because you just get used to it.
And it's just gross.
Yeah, then it's just like, ew.
Yeah.
More blood.
What's funny to me? It's the fact that a lot of violent games I've played have come from the UK in some form.
Yeah, the other thing that I've noticed, I remember noticing this with Battlefield Bad Company 2 when I bought that game, was that it had 2 different ratings. It was a 15 and an 18. Because in the UK it's a 15, but in America it's an 18. And the reason it's only a 15 here is because there's not much blood, but there's lots of swearing. So the swearing makes it an 18 in the US, whereas here it's like not a problem. It's like, it's a 15. God. You can say all the worst swear words all you want. It's a 15. But as soon as there's blood involved, it's an 18.
That's so dumb. But my favorite games, like my favorite like British developed violent games, probably like Killer Instinct. That's a really good game.
Yeah, I've never played Killer Instinct.
No. But
I'm not even confident I know what it is, actually.
It's a one-on-one fighting game. It's
okay, I did know what that was. Okay.
It was originally developed as an arcade game, but and later on it was ported to the SNES.
Yeah.
And it was significantly more difficult, at least the AI part of it. And I don't know. I thought it was really, really good one-on-one fighting.
Yeah.
Like one of its
one-on-one fighters I've played Mortal Kombat and Tekken.
I've played a lot of Tekken. Is really good too. Oh, I love Tekken.
I've played a lot of Tekken.
The thing about the thing that sets Killer Instinct apart is that it's centered around performing combos. So you could if you perform combos, you can string them together and you can, do like an entire string of just punches and kicks, and it would look really cool. And let's see, another cool British gem I've played a lot growing up. Excuse me, was a game called Carmageddon.
Oh yeah.
Remember that?
That was a big deal in America for a bit, wasn't it?
That was
because it was really gory.
Yeah, it was a big deal in Europe in general. Like they actually, when it came out in 1997, yes,
that game is older than me.
When it came out in 1997, I remember this. It actually had they had articles in the newspaper about if this game should be allowed to be sold to to people, because that's how shocked they were. Yeah, and it was a game about like running over people with ridiculous
with crazy cars
and
with buzzsaws on and shit. I have seen like bits of gameplay. I have.
The original is good fun.
Yeah. Well, I was born in 1998, so
oh wow.
I was not alive when that game first came out.
Nice. Yeah.
No, I'm glad that the Xbox 360 did not track hours played back when I played it, because I don't want to know. I probably put maybe 2,000 hours on Reach.
Oh wow.
Maybe.
So let's
I'm just guessing, because I would play it every day.
Wow. So that's like the game you played the most? It's like Halo Reach?
I would have to guess it was, yeah. Because hang on, let me look at Steam, because I've played let's have a look. Profile. I know that my most played thing on Steam is Blender because of rendering.
Nice.
So I think I've got like almost 3,000 hours on Blender.
That's my favorite game, Blender.
Yeah, my favorite game. I have 2,598 hours on Blender.
Wow.
Now, my most played game is Kerbal Space Program. I have 363 hours on that.
Oh, wow.
That's still not even like crazy high.
How many hours?
363.
Oh, wow.
The next one is Skyrim.
Oh, of course.
152 on Skyrim. And then it's Gary's Mod, 142. Nice. And then below that is Skyrim again at 108.
I think my boyfriend also played a lot of Gary's Mod. But
that was the main reason I bought a PC when I was a kid, was to play Gary's Mod. Yeah.
Wow.
Wasn't a great reason to buy a PC.
Yeah, all the source engine shenanigans.
Yeah, I think I did. Obviously, I played it a bunch because I've got almost 150 hours on it. But it really was just me downloading mods, testing them, and then doing that again, like over and over and over. Just like downloading maps, downloading guns that people had made, and like vehicles and stuff like that.
It's a dirty job, but someone has to do it.
Someone's got to do it. Like I just wanted to see what they were like. It was like a new game every time.
Oh
it
yeah,
was fun.
I get that
that's the
feeling.
joy of it.
Yeah,
yeah. I remember there was one map. It really stuck with me, and I never found it again. I accidentally didn't save it, I think, but it scared the shit out of me.
Oh, really?
It was so scary. It was like an underground lab area level thing. And it had like so many sound effects. And I remember there was this hallway that you turned into. And as you look down it, like a shadow person appears and then disappears. And when I was a kid, I was like, oh, and it was so scary. It was so scary when I was a kid. And you know how much of a coward I am.
A little bit. Just a little bit.
Yeah.
But
whenever I'm playing with you on stream on Phasmophobia, I've got a little bit more bravery. But when I'm playing not on stream, I'm a huge pussy.
I was going to say, like, actually, like, I don't think you were that, like... Actually, yesterday I was doing a stream with somebody who first just bought the game, like towards the end of it. And so they never played the game, and they were like actually scary, actually scared.
Yeah,
like
actually
they were
scared.
Yeah, and it was really funny too. Like I'm kind of evil in that regard. I would be like, "Hey, ghost, can you come out and give them a wedgie?" It's like, and they would just slowly inch their way to the door. Like,
I handle that with comedy, which is why I walk in and ask them really weird questions, like, "How do you feel about Halo 2?" Shit like that. It just takes the edge off for me, and it's just funny.
A lot of people do that.
I'm not scared.
But a lot of people do that, but a lot of people are also scared to admit that, which I find really funny. It's like...
Yeah, I mean, I don't know what the problem is admitting that you're scared shitless in a video game, because some of them are designed to scare you. That's the point.
I think so too. Like, well, if you want like an actual scary video game, by the way, you probably don't, but but if anybody watching wants to play like an actually pretty scary video game, you should check out Project Zero, which is called Fatal Frame in some regions. Okay. That's a really cool scary game. Yeah, really cool. It's like a Japanese horror game.
Oh, you know what game did consistently scare me shitless was Alien Isolation.
Oh, that was a really good game.
Also a technical masterpiece.
Oh yeah, really good.
That
I
game
still need
runs
to finish that
incredibly well.
Yeah. Oh, you know
I'm
what?
I'm forever impressed.
You know what the first game was that actually scared me as a kid? That was the first Alone in the Dark game. And you remember that?
Hasn't that
also
hasn't that franchise gone to shit now?
Yeah, it's completely ruined now. Yeah, it's garbage. But also another game that scared me, and this is gonna sound really, really weird, but the first Doom game. A lot of people don't get it, but
I get it.
Yeah, when Doom came out, it was 1993, and I was really young. I was just old enough to like operate a computer. Yeah, it was minus young, but I remember I remember playing that. And even if it was like a little bit dark in the room or something, it was like, and there's like one level in Doom where it's like when the lights are out, or when the lights are flickering. That would be pretty scary because
there's something. Well, you would have been playing it on like a CRT, right?
Yes.
And it would, there's something about the way that old games obscure their visuals that it lets you kind of fill in the gaps a lot with your brain, which is way scarier.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah. And a lot of people don't get it because they think they say like, well, but it looks so cartoony and all that. But it's like, but back in the day, like this wasn't.
Yeah, it's like you could say that about the first Silent Hill, but like you play that on a CRT monitor in the dark, and you really let it suck you in. Like
exactly,
games like that are scary because they're so kind of like blurry and you can't really tell what's going on. And it
exactly. It's really hard.
They have a different
It's difficult to explain what made them just scary, and not like pants shittingly scary, but it was still an action game, Doom. But just it was kind of spooky.
Well, they have a dark kind of vibe to them, don't they?
Yeah.
Like even a lot of older games that aren't even trying to have kind of a creepy.
Well, the original
dark
Doom
kind of vibe.
The original Doom had this thing where it had like dissipating darkness. So, like, the further you could see, the more, it would kind of be filled up with darkness, pretty much, So your vision would kind of dissipate into darkness the further it rendered.
Yeah, so like a fog of war, but for an FPS.
Yeah, quite. And so that would automatically make the game kind of look scary because you couldn't see things properly, like in the distance. Like a lot of modern source ports fixed that issue. But back in the day, that was of course because everything was on like an awful CRT monitors. And I know excellent CRT monitors do exist, but come on, back in the day, everyone had like a really shitty knockoff.
Yeah, everyone had shitty ones, and even good ones are still fuzzy.
Yes.
Like they're not perfectly sharp. They're always a little bit kind of.
And one thing that stands out to me in Alone in the Dark, the first game, it looked comical. It looked comical because like all the characters looked like polygonal, like they looked like origami, you know, origami figures, and so it was kind of comical. But like, if you don't know what to do, basically, there's like a string of events that you need to complete if you want to finish the game properly. So if you start the game and you're in this room, this attic or whatever, and basically you have to do a few things. And that was kind of typical of like old games, I guess. And one of those things is like there's a window with like a bookcase next to it. And if you don't push the bookcase in front of the window, there will be like this horrible origami purple monster thing that will jump through the window, jump scare you awfully because you wouldn't expect it, and then just kill you. and like I look at playthroughs now, and I look at the monster, and it's like this weird origami monster with teeth, and I'm like, I was scared of that. But back in the day, it's just like it really gets you because you don't expect it, and
there's a lot to monsters that are obscured like that. Like whenever we play Phasmophobia and I see the model of the ghost, I'm no longer scared because like I've seen it now.
Yeah.
And
Exactly.
There's none of it missing. Like whenever they're shadow people, that gets me a bit more, and I can like maintain the fear a bit more. But when it's like a full apparition of like a woman in pajamas, I'm like, okay, cool.
Yeah.
Or like where it's just like a naked dude, I'm like, oh, okay. Like, I've seen you now. Like this is fine. But when it's like 6 polygons, you still don't really know what you're looking at.
Yeah,
when
exactly.
You're looking at it.
Yeah.
So it's got that fear of I've seen it and I still don't know what it is.
Yeah.
And I think that adds a lot.
Yeah, I completely agree. That's probably a good thing about like that's also I mentioned Project Zero earlier, and the Project Zero that's like a PlayStation 2 game, by the way.
Yeah.
And so it still ties into the retro games, and
that absolutely counts. We're on I don't want to remind you, but we're on the PS5 now.
Okay. Yeah. But
don't make you feel old.
No, it's okay. I feel it nonetheless. But in Project Zero, you have like a camera and you take pictures. And basically, your goal is to you defeat ghosts by taking pictures of them.
Yeah. No, that's excellent game design.
Yeah,
that's a good idea.
And basically, it plays into that same sort of thing where you don't really know what you see on the pictures sometimes. And
I saw. Carry on. Actually, I'll get back to this.
Oh no, but well, I was kind of finished, but it kind of plays into that same thing where you're like, what am I looking at? Is it a ghost? And then it's
I watched. Sometimes like indie developers on Twitter will just post little projects that they're making, just little like, I was just seeing how this would work, or like, I was just testing this idea. And one that I saw that I hope I'll be able to find again because I just thought it was excellent was they had made this system where you control like a drone in a room, like a little like very slow, like not flying, just like basically like an RC car that moved extremely slowly, and you could only see when you took a photo with it, and it would like slowly scan in the image, and then you could like move a bit more, and then you would have to press a button. Or like, I think it just refreshed like every 2 seconds or something, and it would slowly scan from top to bottom what the new image was. And I was just this is so
scary.
Good. That's so cool because it was like so cold and uncaring because it was just like this. I think they even added like a sound effect to it of it just going like as it drew like the new image, and I was like, oh, that's so cool. Like it's so. Oh, you could do such great like like cosmic horror with it.
Yeah, I
where
love
like
that.
you could be in a different room and they're like, the robot is on some other planet or something, or like on like in a temple or anything.
I love that.
And it could slowly scan in the images and like you don't know where you are until it like updates.
That reminds me of an old movie, Contact. Remember that?
I haven't seen it, but I know of it.
Jodie Foster, I think. It's like a sci-fi movie, I guess. And it's a really, really good movie. It is a bit cheesy. It is cheesy by today's standards, but it's really good. And there's one part of the movie that like it didn't scare me, but it gave me like cold chills. Because because like the movie itself plays itself pretty realistically. So it's like about using satellites to pick up radio waves from outer space. Yeah. And they believe they've established contact with, like an alien life form. Yeah. And so, not to go into full spoiler territory here, but there is one part where, and this is just a minor thing, so I think I can spoil this. But there's one part where they've established contact with like an alien. And they show like an image on a display, and I'm just going off of memory here, so it might not be completely accurate. But basically,
you might have made it more scary in your head.
Yeah. But like at one point, they kind of like zoom out of the picture, and apparently, the picture they've been sending was like a portrait of Adolf Hitler. And I don't know why, but that was like a terrifying idea as a kid to me. Like,
just the connotations of it is so terrifying.
Yeah, like the idea of just like you've established contact with like an unknown alien life intelligence, and like one of the first things it displays to you, communicates with you, is like one of the most black pages of human history. Yeah, like, and it's like, oh my god, that's so scary.
Like life forms, and the first thing you show them is like historically one of the worst people that's ever existed.
Yeah, exactly. That was I thought that was like a really cool moment in that movie. And
I can definitely see how that would be like chilling.
Yeah.
Not necessarily terrifying, just like the thought of it is so terrible.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
I think the last movie to properly scare me was Hereditary. Because it was the right kind of scary for me.
It's like a modern movie?
Yes. It's not... it's so difficult to describe, but it's also kind of a slow burn a little bit at the beginning, and the ending kind of ruined it for me a little bit because it was a bit on the nose. But like, there's some imagery in it that just totally chilled me to the core. Like, it like completely.
Like,
I remember watching it and just being like, "Oh my god, I actually can't handle this."
Oh yeah,
I'm actually like properly off put by this.
I've only had this with like one movie, and that was how was that movie about the drumming guy? It was not a horror movie. Yeah, Whiplash.
Whiplash stressed me out.
Yeah, and
properly stressed me out.
So like the thing that like I had to almost turn the movie off because of the part where he beats the teacher guy who beats him.
Oh yeah.
And because as a kid I was abused by my teacher. So that like really sunk home to me. And,
that whole movie and its portrayal of abuse like that is difficult.
Yeah, it is. And
it's difficult.
And the ending too is just like a lot of people are like, well, it was a pretty good ending, and I'm like, well, it's not.
It's so
like,
painful.
Yeah, it's
so
such
much
a painful.
pain.
Yeah, it's like it's actually really sad.
The person
ending.
who has been so horribly abused, like finally does what they were abused into doing.
Yeah, exactly.
At the end of the movie, like it's such a terrible ending.
Oh yeah, it really
so
is
bad.
Super depressing.
It feels terrible. Yeah.
Ugh.
I don't watch that many movies, so I don't really talk about them that much. I don't really have the patience for them a lot of the time. Which I feel bad about because I'm sure there are some great ones out there, but I can't commit to 2 hours, hour and a half of one thing.
I have that with TV shows actually.
Oh, I don't watch TV shows. I do not watch TV shows. There's very few that I've seen.
The thing with movies is that I can actually sit down and watch them in like a limited time span of 1.5 hours to 2 hours.
Yeah.
Well, whereas with like TV shows, like I just can't bring up the patience to just watch an entire season.
I think I can count how many TV shows I've seen all the way through on one hand. I think.
No.
Rick and Morty season 1. I've seen all of that.
Nice.
Haunting of Hill House, I've seen all of that. And
nice.
Chernobyl, I've seen all of that.
Yeah, I've heard good things about Chernobyl.
I've watched it twice now.
My boyfriend says it's really good.
It's really good.
It's really fucking unsettling.
Yeah, it's like scary in like
it's really
a very
upsetting.
specific way.
Oh, he also says we should watch The Expanse. He says it's the best science fiction show in recent memory.
Okay.
Yeah.
I'll probably not watch it because I watched Rick and Morty because it was with my housemates. That was why I watched that one. I watched Hill House because it was with my housemates. And I watched Chernobyl because I had COVID and I couldn't move. So I was like, well, I may as well sit and watch a TV show that I'm really interested in.
Yeah. I still want to watch like some of the shows that people have been like hyping up, like Breaking Bad.
I don't know why, but whenever people get really hyped about TV shows, it makes me want to watch them even less.
Same here. I still have not watched Beastars, even though everyone...
I did watch Beastars, and that actually stressed me out a bit.
Really?
it was lots of like... It's like, I don't know how to describe it, but it's like social stuff, like things going wrong in relationships and things like that. And that stresses me out. It had me a bit on edge for the whole thing, but I did get through season 1, and I do want to see season 2. Because I'm a filthy furry.
Aren't we all
It's also really horny. It's really horny.
Oh, no. I don't know if I should watch it.
Weirdly so.
Well, it's Japanese, so it's always going to be horny, I guess.
No, come on.
Well, okay, that's a gross
generalization.
Gross generalization, but
yeah.
I mean,
I get it.
Anime,
I get it, and it makes sense. It makes sense for the story, and I get it. It's just a bit horny.
Yeah,
ultimately, it is an important part of the story.
The horniness?
In my opinion, the horny parts. Because one of the characters is horny, and that's what it's about.
One of the things that I actually kind of appreciate about like Chinese animes, because I've been watching Chinese animes, and I know somebody is going to scream at me for being like, "Well, if it's Chinese, it's not anime, and it's Donghua." Okay, but like, it's the art style anime, but it's produced in China. But the thing I liked about it is actually that it is a lot less horny in general. and I know that sounds weird, but yeah.
No. I know what you mean, because like I have, a lot of the time it's impossible to not notice when stuff, especially in TV, is just randomly horny.
Yeah.
You're just like, whoa, okay. This person is topless now.
Yeah, exactly. And it's like,
I don't know why this is happening.
Yeah, and it's not like I'm not like a prude or something. Like I don't mind it. It's just like
jarring sometimes.
Yeah.
No, I would agree with that to some extent. Having said that, I do not watch anime. So the stuff that I have seen, I've been like, okay, like it'll just come out of nowhere, and I get it sometimes with Western TV as well.
Yeah.
I'm like, does this sex scene really drive the story forward? I don't think so.
Oh, maybe Chinese anime is more to your liking then.
It's still a TV show. I can't handle it.
It's troubling for me to just sit down and watch a TV show.
Yeah,
so.
I can't do it.
Let's finish this off on
Yes.
the topic of video games at least.
Yes.
I want to do that. Go on. Okay.
Go on. Think of something.
Do you have like any? Do you have any recollection playing anything like on like an SNES or like NES?
I've never
any
touched
emulators
an SNES in my life.
Nothing at all.
I played Kirby's
PlayStation?
Dream Course. That's the only one.
PlayStation 1.
Oh, and I own a PlayStation 1. I have Tekken 2 on the PlayStation 1.
Oh yeah, there we go.
I'm garbage at that.
Uh,
It's so slow. It's so much slower than it is now. Tekken is so fast now.
Do you have like I don't know? What is your like first recollection of like escapism maybe in like video games?
I really buried myself in Animal Crossing
Hmm.
when I was a kid, and I was young. I think I was like, oh no, wow, I was younger than I thought. Maybe 6 or 7. And that was all I wanted to do, was just play Animal Crossing. I didn't want to do anything else. I didn't want to go outside. I didn't want to talk to anyone. I just wanted to play Animal Crossing.
Wow.
Because like, I don't know why, but all of my childhood memories that I have, which is not many, I don't remember very much anymore. But they're all really dark. Like, and I don't mean like in the emotional sense. I mean like outside it was dark.
Like that, yeah.
I have like all these memories of being at my house or like my nan's house, and all of the windows are always really dark. And I think, I don't know, maybe most of my memories are just in the winter. And I just wanted to stay inside and play on Animal Crossing and play on the GameCube. Yeah,
I guess too, like winter times also means that you're going to be like around people. It's a little bit more cozy, I guess. So it kind of makes sense in that regard.
Yeah, I just remember just like constantly playing it, and my parents constantly making fun of me for playing it all the time. And that's pretty much all I remember.
Yeah.
Of just like every time I said anything, it was an opportunity to make fun of me for how much I played video games.
Same here. Yeah, same here.
You wouldn't know because you don't do anything other than play on that GameCube thing. And I'm like, what else am I going to do in this house?
You're not going to do anything in life because you just play video games all day.
You just sit around and play video games. Well, fuck you, Dad. Now it's my job.
Look at me. Look at me now. I make CritFacts content.
Yeah.
That's
I edit audio for YouTube videos.
Yes. Yes.
No, gaming is like an enormous part of my childhood. It's 99% of my childhood. And that's
quite a lot,
probably why I don't remember very much of it, because I didn't do much other than play video games. And it wasn't even like an antisocial thing. I would play Xbox exclusively with friends. I very rarely played it alone.
Oh, that's still a good social
I mean, it's funny because now group Discord calls terrify me. Like whenever I want to join one, I'm always like, oh, and I get really stressed. And I remember thinking, like, I've been in Xbox Live calls with 12-year-olds when I was 12, obviously, where there were like 9 or 10 people in there, and that was fine.
Yeah, I have that too. Also,
but now I
because
see
I'm just,
like 4 people in a Discord voice call, and I'm like, oh, I don't know if I can do that.
Yeah. The thing that annoys me is just people just have a certain expectation, and I'm just really scared of people complaining about my voice because I'm just so self-aware of it, I guess.
I mean, I there was a while ago when Among Us was big, and I was playing it on a server with a bunch of like friends that I'd very recently made through a streamer that I was watching or something. I have no recollection of it. It was like abstractions on abstractions of people who knew people who knew people, and then I ended up on this Discord server.
I remember that.
And it is, you know, especially when I think that's like it's like another layer to it. Is that when you're trans and your voice doesn't pass, like me, it's kind of frustrating because you get sick of like trying to correct people when they refer to you with the wrong pronouns, and you don't want to be the person that just sits there and corrects people over and over and over again.
I legit don't get how anyone could misgender your voice, by the way. I'm not saying that just to humor you or whatever. Like, I'm serious.
No, I get that. I get that from people, but I also get people referring to me as he all the time. And I think it's because when I get tired, I get growlier and growlier and growlier, and my voice just gets lower and lower.
Yeah.
But I've always sounded like this. But I don't think my voice really broke when I was a kid, which I'm obviously very thankful for.
Yeah.
And it's super fun on phone calls when people call me and they don't know who I am. It's great.
Yeah. I wish I could say that, but yeah.
I appreciate the privilege that I have with it. Definitely. 100%.
Yeah. Yeah, it's just always, I have to always stress it, you know. And that's also why like I rarely ever use my phone, you know, for anything like calls. It's more like a PDA to me in that regard.
Oh yeah, well that, like, I don't even have the phone app on my home screen on my phone. Like, it's buried somewhere. I have to search it every time I want to call someone because I don't fucking use it.
If somebody does end up calling me, I'm always just like, yeah, what is it?
Yeah.
Oh, okay, cool.
Yeah.
Anything
My
else?
least favorite is when people video call me without making an appointment with me. That's rude.
I mean, it is rude to begin with. Yeah, to start off. Yeah,
my mum does that. My mum used to do that to me. She would just video call me, and I'd be like, "Bitch, what? What are you doing? No, I'm not doing that." God, it's so funny. The only time I did it was when I bleached my hair, and I hadn't told her.
Nice.
And I was like, "It'll be funny, so it's worth it."
Yeah.
So I answered the call with bright blonde hair.
Nice.
And she was like, "Whoa, who is that?" I want to bleach my hair again. I need to do that.
Yeah.
It's so much effort though. My hair is so thick.
I used to have like back in the day, I used to dye my hair black because my natural hair is like it's dark brown.
Yeah, mine is dark brown.
And I would always get comments because I just wanted to be like full on goth, you know. So I was like, I'm just gonna dye it black all the time. Yeah, and I used to get comments.
Yeah, when I bleached my hair, that was the first time I did anything color related to my hair, and that was only 2 years ago.
But you know what's ironic though? Like when I was a little kid, I used to have like bright blonde hair.
Yeah, actually, that's the thing that's in my family. I didn't have that, but wait, no, did I? I think I did. I had blonde hair when I was a kid, and then it went dark brown, and two of my cousins had it as well.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like, and it's
then
weird.
One of them had it and then never got brown. It's just still bright blonde.
I don't think any of my siblings have that, but like I did for some reason, and there's still
no, I did, yeah.
Still pictures at my parents somewhere, I guess, of just me with.
There's a photo that
hair.
I just remembered. It's of me in my nan's garden wearing dungarees, and I've got bright blonde hair, like bright blonde short hair.
It's the type of hair you can just see from like a distance.
Yes, like a beacon, a beacon of lack of melanin.
Nice.
Yeah. And now my hair is just so easy. Another thing I'm thankful for is I have wavy hair, so I can cut my own hair, and it's no problem because it all just becomes the same length because it all like waves back into that. And it's very dark and very thick, so it took 5 goes to bleach it.
I have thick curly hair, and it sucks. I mean, I like how it looks, obviously, but like if I wash it, I have to spend at least 30 minutes just combing through it. I
have to be very careful with my hair with washing it because it's already kind of dry. So I can't be washing it too often, otherwise it just goes nasty.
That sucks. But anyway, we wanted to end on a note of video games.
They started talking about hair. Bloody women.
Yes,
am I right?
Yes, I know. All the trans women are also always focusing on the sexist stereotypes of femininity and.
It's so funny. I haven't painted my nails in forever. I should do that.
Yeah, I usually only do that when I go to like golf parties and.
Oh yeah, I used to paint my nails black a lot, and then I got a really good pink. Mm-hmm. And my nails are very, very, very bright white, so it looked like I had French tips. So it was a good one. I need to get some more of that. I think I've used it all up.
Anyway, video games.
Video games. What was a game that you were really good at?
Well, Killer Instinct. I was really good at.
Okay.
I also remember. I was also when I got into playing Xbox 360, which I think is more relatable to you.
Yes.
I played a lot of Call of Duty games.
Okay, I had a few, but I never really got into them.
Yeah, I got pretty good at it. I got pretty good at Modern Warfare 2, especially.
I had a phase where. Because I had the luck of living relatively close to a couple of my best friends in school, like easily walkable. I used to go to their house and we would play, I think it's Modern Warfare 3.
Oh, wow.
That has it's like a point defense thing. Well, like you're just in a map and then it just sends waves of enemies at you.
Oh yeah! Yeah. That one. Yeah,
that's Modern Warfare 3, right?
I think so. Yeah, it's kind of like zombies, but without the zombies.
But like they shoot you.
Yes. Yeah, they're a little bit faster.
Yeah, but that. Yeah, I think we had like 2 months of playing that like nonstop.
Oh yeah.
And I bought that game to play that with them, and I never played the campaign or online. It was just that. So that's the only memory I have of Modern Warfare 3. I played one game type that game had, and nothing else.
I just really like. I don't know. I'm mostly just good at FPS games in general.
I got really good at SWAT on Halo Reach, and I got really, really good at Splinter Cell Conviction on the Xbox 360. I got really excellent at that for some reason. Which is funny because I had the original Splinter Cell for the GameCube and I never got past the tutorial level because it's too complicated for my tiny mind and I never got very far on it. But Splinter Cell Conviction, there was just something about it that made sense to me because I think it was just like a bit more simplified.
Yeah, sometimes it just has to click, you know?
I played that all the time and I got excellent. But it's a single player game, so it's like, it doesn't matter.
Yeah. Well, yeah. I have it too, because, you know, with games like BioShock, that's also just single player only.
Yeah. I can't really. Did you ever play Overwatch?
No. No, that's also a bit too,
Yeah, I could probably record a solo podcast about how much I hate that piece of shit and how disappointing it is as a game. No, I played that for a bit because that was one of those things where, you know, with online gaming where a few people in your friend group buy a game and then someone else buys it, and then someone else buys it.
Oh, yeah,
and then you're like, oh, well, I'll buy it now because all of my friends have it. You know,
exactly,
it's one of those, because it was always like £15. Like, it wasn't like a full price game. And eventually I ended up with it. And for the longest time, I couldn't put my finger on why I didn't like it. But I always used to walk away from it feeling so much worse than when I started. would just make you feel like garbage, that game.
Well, we still have a slot free for like talking about modern games, so maybe we can.
That's true.
We can let you loose on that.
Yeah, we'll probably end up doing that one as well.
Probably. I mean, there's plenty of modern games I can talk about. You know, I can be all like like I'm one of you modern kids.
Yeah.
Like how does it mean go? Fellow kids.
That is how I feel though, because the only modern game online game I play is Apex, and like I don't really. And even that, I don't play that much anymore because it takes too much focus, and I can't do that.
Well, I'm legit like I don't know. Even playing like some older games, I feel like are still pretty modern to me. You know. But I think I'm actually pretty good at like Phasmophobia too. Like
yeah. I mean, you are. It's good that there's no record of that time that we died on Amateur.
Oh no! Oh god!
We don't talk about that.
Yeah, this shameful display. Yeah. Oh man.
And you're like, what level are you? 500 and something.
500 something. Yeah. Yep. Oh, that's shameful. Yeah.
It was so funny.
Yeah, it was hilarious.
It was so funny.
But like in general, I mean, I still die. But I even like lots of other like quote pro Phasmophobia players I see on YouTube or Twitch. They still die sometimes.
I feel like a lot of the time with Phasmophobia, you have to put yourself in a position where you're likely to die.
Yeah.
To get evidence. And sometimes it's just luck that the ghost doesn't kill you that time because it just doesn't want to or something.
Yeah.
Like I've had that before where I've been in ridiculous situations and the ghost has just been like, no, I'm not feeling it. You're good. You're all right this time.
Yeah, that depends on the ghost types as well. In like Banshees, for example, they target one person, and if that target happens to be not you, then you're in luck actually. Yeah.
I don't really know the ins and outs of Phasmophobia. I just talk shit. I don't really
I can
offer
bring
anything
you up
to the team.
Well, you're doing pretty well. So.
Well, actually, now that I've got VR, I can be the pack mule.
Oh,
because when you use VR, you can carry loads more stuff.
Yeah, you can actually. But
I can just bring tons of equipment now.
I
will actually shit myself playing that game in VR.
Oh man,
I will actually scream. I'll be so scared. I won't be playing. I won't. It's going to arrive today, but I'm streaming American Truck Sim tonight because I've committed to that. So I won't be. I won't be playing it tonight.
I want to see and hear you scream.
Okay.
That's one. Yeah.
That's not going to take long. It'll probably only be the first. It'll be the first mission.
But, we can definitely ramble some more about modern games and the.
Definitely. This is like a foreshadowing. A little teaser.
Yeah, a little teaser. Yeah. So on that note, what's going to be your final words for now?
Thanks for listening to episode.
I still don't know
of CritCast. I'll put Microsoft Sam in there.
Yes.
For whatever episode this is, I don't know.
Yes.
It won't be episode 2 because we can't have me and Rachel twice in a row as our first 2 episodes. So it'll be 3 or above. I don't know what yet.
Okay. Thanks for listening to our rambling. I hope you enjoyed it. Let us know in the comments what do you think about some of the games we've listed. I mean, to be fair, I think it's actually really impressive how much we've covered in terms of like old games.
Yeah, we really blasted through them. To be fair, we weren't particularly specific about anything, but I'd rather we weren't.
Yeah, exactly. That's going to take up a lot of time otherwise.
Yeah.
But like, did you grow up with any of the like really old stuff, or did you grow up with like the Xbox 360 stuff that BleepFox listed?
Tell us about like the game that you spent way too much time on.
Yes.
The equivalent to my Halo Reach. Well, I got way too good. I spent way too much time on it. And now I'm full of regret. It's got no transferable skills.
That's a mood.
Yeah.
But do we want to like blatantly advertise ourselves or?
We can do plugs, can't we?
Yeah, I guess so.
You do yours first. I need to remember what mine are.
Well, I'm on Twitter, on the twits. You can find me at TheWolfSpirit1. And I'm also streaming on Twitch every day on 8:30 CET. That's Central European Time. That's at Rachel Plays Stuff. So, yeah.
Yeah,
I usually play Phasmophobia.
Sometimes I'm on Rachel's streams as well.
Yeah.
If you want more of me and Rachel for some reason.
Yes. If you can't get enough, then yeah.
Yeah, if you can't get enough of us, then we do sometimes stream.
Except
usually
it's more sassy.
Phasmophobia.
It's even more sassy in
it's much sassier, and I talk a lot more shit.
Yes.
Yeah, I also stream. I'm on twitch.tv/BleepFox, and my Twitter handle is also BleepFox because I'm good at branding. And
yes, you are.
I don't stream as regularly as Rachel, but when I do, it's usually about 10 or 11 p.m. GMT. And I go for hours usually. At the moment, super into American Truck Sim.
Yes.
And it's basically a podcast, but it's just me.
Well, that's still interesting.
So if you want to hear me talk about random shit, last time I talked about dreams for a really long time. That was the last one I did. I really just let my mind wander on those ones. It's a real insight into the way my mind works.
Yeah, that's a nice therapeutical.
It's very much a background stream.
Yeah,
very much.
So yeah,
thanks for hanging out with us and listening to us talk about video games.
And we hope to see you in the next episode.
Absolutely.
And, yeah.
Bye.
See you later. Bye-bye.